Hello there and welcome back here to Farming Simulator. Let's pop you on here and go to you, and then I will bring up the game, and then we're ready to potato harder, which is obviously what we call it here. Oh yeah, it's night, by the way, very dark. No, combine, that's not good, indicating we just need to very quickly go to our tractor, which is right here. Let's pop it on. Progress has been made since last Friday, actually. It's been just about a week. I've done a bit more potatoing, and we have way more potatoes lying over there somewhere. That wasn't the button. I will use the keyboard to turn it on, and then we will get... Oh, hang on. This game is oddly quiet, isn't it? Have I turned it down in here? I have. I've been a naughty boy. And I have turned it down. There we go. Now we've got tractor noises as we potato. So, hope you're all doing well on this Friday. Or Saturday. It could be Saturday if you're like in Australia or New Zealand and all of that. Potato hard. No. Don't you know Die Hard? Because you've got Die Hard 1. You got Die Hard 2. Die Harder. And you got Die Hard 3, which in every country which is correct in the world is called Die Hard 3. Die Hard Mega Hard. That is the potato world as well, of course. We all know that as professional fake potato farmers. You've got farming day 1, which is just potato hard. And then day 2 of harvesting potatoes is potato harder. Because we are hard on the potatoes. Just imagine a really angry Bruce Willis driving this. I went through every Bruce right there in a moment that I could think of. Bruce Lee, and then there was another Bruce who just now escaped me again. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing fine on this Friday/Saturday, depending on where in the world you are. Weekend started here, so that's great. It's evening. Had some homemade pizza for dinner. Lovely. 10 out of 10 on that. Watched the season review 1983 World Rally Championship, although I'm still in progress of watching that. I'm going the wrong way. Yes, I am. Hang on, am I? Brain, engage. No, I'm going the right way. But yeah, I'm part way through, but 2/3 of the way through the 1983 World Rally Championship review, which is one hell of an experience. It's on Duke Video. The more recent ones, well, pretty much from 85 onwards, they produced themselves. This one, no. It's quite the experience as a result, because the music is quite clearly non-copyrighted. Well, you know, there's copyrighted, but, you know, just, in effect, it's, you know, sort of discount supermarket, own brand versions of songs of that time, because all of a sudden I could definitely hear there was a Michael Jackson song. Now, of course, I've forgotten which one it is, but it certainly was there, and oh boy, it was there, but it wasn't Michael Jackson singing, and there was a weird, like, sort of slow down and speed up. Somebody clearly discovered, like, a synthesizer. I was like, oh, I can make them sing slow and make them sing fast, and then all of that. It's just weird and wonderful. But who doesn't love those good old Opel Asconas? And, oh, Renault 5s. Yes, it's great. Great, anyway, so that's been my Friday, well, after work anyway, so it's all been good. Hope you're all doing just as good, and by that I mean gone down a pit of very weird niche stuff. Which, in fairness, that probably is closer to porn than this video title, because, oh, rear-wheel drive rally cars. Oh yes, please. You have my attention. You really do, especially with the Opel Manta. Oh, love that thing. Love that thing. So good in Dirt Rally and Dirt Rally 2.0. And like in real life too, I would imagine it was quite good as well. But yes, we are still potatoing here. I've done some progress, as you saw. I had to take some time out to feed my animals, because animals and welfare and all sorts of weird nonsense. So that should be good now. Oh, you've now started complaining about your wheat and your barley, but look at that. Cows happy. Like me cows happy. They produce milk. Wait, how much milk do I have? I've filled up me potatoes. Me potato thing is full, and I didn't notice because I'm an idiot who don't know what I'm doing plainly. So let's raise up our potatoes. We can go and put some wheat and some barley, or well, either or, into our cows. because cows like to eat. No, pigs. It's pigs that need that. Pigs are really important right now because Christmas is coming up, and blimey, what can we do if we don't have pigs for Christmas? Like, we might as well cancel Christmas. Gee whiz. I mean, I joke, but that's pretty much the affair in the UK because they're not going to have any turkeys. Oh well, we will stop here and we will unload, and then we will move to you. Yes, you. Me little John Deere, which is sitting right here next to the cow shed. Not cow, it's pigs. I know the difference. We shall put in here and stop. No, I've gone too far because pressed the wrong button there. Got my keyboard and all sorts of things going on here. Stop. Barley, no barley. Plenty of wheat. We got all of that wheat. Loady, 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 loady. Look at that, beautiful. Reversing forwards. Thank you. Always go forward, never go backwards. Same is true for real life, frankly. Speaking of, I read a sort of interview thing about a documentary film about January the 6th, which apparently is coming out. Apparently wasn't really hot in America. Nobody seemed to want to take up the offer of making a film about that, a documentary film about that event. But it's surprising. Don't know why. Can't figure out why there wouldn't be any interest whatsoever in doing that. But apparently it's being made like for British, UK, English, BBC thing, and that's happening next week, which should be interesting. Like the sort of tagline of the article was, had this been the UK, the police would have lit those fuckers up. Well, paraphrasing there, but pretty much, yeah, it would have gone very differently had it not happened in America. And in some ways you kind of have to agree. Because, like, that could have been bad. Like, it was bad, but it could have been way bad. Way bad. Yep, that's the words that we use to describe things. It was bad, but it could be way bad. I can do words. So, you've now been fed. Let's have a bit of a look-see here. See the piggies? Yes, look at that. Happy pigs. Happy pigs. I don't know why they drop, but they have. Nope, gone the wrong way. There you go. Beautiful tractor down here, the claws. It is nothing but claws. But claws. But so all the British people can make fun of us. I don't think, in fairness, it doesn't sound like there's particularly much to be made fun of in that, because it features like interviews with those involved, like both from like politicians and the members of the public that were present. Because again, your sort of definition of what it was kind of depends on where you fall on the political spectrum. But yeah, and it like features interviews with like, you know, members of the public and police that were there. And I imagine that's fairly harrowing, because the filmmakers were working on something with like Black Lives Matter movement and that, and they had like some connections with a right-wing media thing that they were getting stuff from, and they basically just got access to all of the stuff because they were there like filming for their right-wing media stuff. And they just got access to all of that footage. So I'm imagining that might be quite interesting to watch, because it sounds like they were right in there. And oh boy. Like, just, yeah, still really fucking weird to look back at that. I mean, the year so far has been mental. In every way imaginable. Like, I mean, we're going to get to it towards the end of the year more, or closer as we get to December, but Jesus fucking Christ, what a fucking year. Like, we thought last year couldn't get fucking shit and worse, and then, oh boy, didn't 2021 kick us in the face, and like, then pissed on our faces afterwards, just to really prove a point. But anyway, yes, this week, oh god, what has happened since the last stream? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we had the Turkish Grand Prix, which was alright. Just, again, baffling decision by Mercedes to take that engine penalty. One can only assume that they needed it because it had serious doubts about the longevity of Hamilton's engine they had in. Other than that, I genuinely don't see a reason why, because it was the worst point to do that from what's level, probably, you know, next up at Austin, probably worse. Right, you were in, oh god, are you that far behind? I've already moved on, gee whiz. So yeah, you just said you were in DC for January 6th. It was quite a thing. I can imagine that might have been a bit tense. That might have been a bit tense. Like, what with the whole everything being on fire and democracy nearly dying in America, that might have been a bit scary. You'd notice, in fairness, you would notice that, wouldn't you? Like, you're just going about your day and all of a sudden democracy's nearly gone away. Tend to notice, you'd spot that. Yeah, I heard about that. That's just one of those things. Yep, we've now moved back. El Dictator Joe, keep up with the programme. Don't talk about Formula 1 when we've gone back to talking about the other thing. The weird thing about time and doing this, because yes. But yeah, the MP thing, just, it's weird. Like, that's because we had that one MP that was stabbed, like, leading up to the Brexit referendum, or well, the EU referendum. And you would have think they'd sort of figured it all out from there. So that was just weird. Distracted by... Are you talking about being chased out of a store today or on January the 6th? Because I feel like that's a pretty significant development if we have a live bomb scare going on this channel. I mean, please tell me it's live, because that would be really good for my viewers. Like, I feel like my numbers are going to go up drastically if you tell me that right now you're under a bomb threat. And I can, like, do live commentary while I farm. Because on the one hand you get agricultural knowledge, and on the other you get current events commentary, which, again, very good. It's a good double up here, and, you know, through the medium of video games and idiots is how the world should be pursued. Oh, boo, boo. I thought it was right now. That would have been far better if it happened right now. I would have been much better for my numbers. Like, could you perhaps do a bump scare for me? Just try and just do, you know, a little homemade bump scare. Yeah, thanks, mate. See, again, you posted that just as I said that. Again, perfect synergy going on right here. Perfect synergy. But yeah, I can imagine, like, I wasn't in America at the time, and I've never been. But, like, watching from outside, like, I remember on January the 6th, in the evening, I just had the thing running, like, the thing that they were doing with the election thing, where they were, like, reading up state, blah, 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 and then going... Oh, yes, thank you for that. And then they sat down again. And then there was, like, protests and that. And I remember I went out shopping. And then I came back and there were, like, some people walking in that building. And that was, like, really weird. Because I was like, what's going on here? And then basically shit hit the fan at that point. They'd just, like, gotten in. And, like, yes, at that point, that woman would have been shot by that police person who, you know, was protecting democracy. So, you know, on a scale of police shootings, that one's probably okay. I'm just, again, hashtag from a point of no knowledge, probably alright when you, like, shoot people that are trying to stop a democratic process. As a police officer, that's sort of what you should be doing. And with my skills in LCPD, you could probably walk me through. Yeah, it's piss easy, innit? Just find a wire colour and then cut it. Like, I've got a book written, I've got a couple actually written by bomb persons, EODs, well, ATOs. Is it ATOs? Ammunition Technical Officer, I think, is the actual terminology for them. So yeah, I mean, I know the words and all of that, as you can see. I'm very skilled at all of that. So yes. I mean, from those books, it doesn't sound like a nice job, to be honest. Very stressful, actually, is what my impression was. Like, one of them literally just tapped out, was like, no, can't do this anymore. I'm literally too emotionally scarred to carry on with defusing bombs in Iraq. Which wasn't great. But, you know, probably for the best. I feel like you need to be operating at your very best if you are operating in an active war zone as a bomb disposal person. Like, just for your own life thing. Fun fact, that big bomb suit thing pretty much just there to like keep your organs and your body in like one place for the burial when you're up close, which seems rather morbid. Like the disposal people, they kind of know that, and like obviously it gives protection when they go to and from the bomb if there's like a dicker out there, but when they're actually working at the bomb, that suit's like pointless. It's just gonna keep body parts together rather than having like people walking around trying to find like your spleen and like your left arm and your right arm. It's annoying when they're like 300 meters apart. You know, it's just it'll ruin your whole day if that happens. But yeah, Formula One. Let's move back to something more positive. Yeah, it was a weird thing. Just a really weird race. All in all, I think. Yeah, I saw that. That was just now we just again quick Formula One. Move back over to that. Yeah, just shocking incompetence in every possible way by the LA police there. But I feel like you can say that about like 90 billion things the LAPD does, because they apparently severely misjudged the quantity. No, those suits are literally kind of pointless. Like, they're basically there to protect you going to the bomb, in case it's like, you know, man operated rather than, you know, operate. I believe the terminology, and it's quite dark. It's called victim operated explosives, which is just depressing, really, when you think about it. Because basically, there are two types of IEDs, technically, which is mostly what they do. Those people, it's the victim-operated one, which is the pressure plate or the wire things, and then there's, I mean, obviously there are timers as well, but then there is also a, you know, operated by the bad guy, either by phoning or like just having I mean, some of them it's literally just a string or a cable that's connected, and they just pull that and then it booms. Yeah, victim operated, it's a word, it's a whole word. It's one of those military terminologies that severely just hides the fact that what it actually is. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's going to be like a Bob Ross painting, though, is it? It's not going to be, oh, a happy little accident. No, it is definitely going to be something involving a bomb, and it's probably the most sort of neutral thing you can go for. I'm surprised they even went with victim, because, you know, that implies guilt and all of that sort of stuff. But I suppose when, you know, you're technically only supposed to be the good guys in that scenario, you kind of want to portray yourself as a bit of a victim. But yeah, victim operated, and then, you know, you can have non-victim operated ones that are operated by an operator. An enemy operator. Or you can call it like a that wasn't your day bomb. That could have worked too, instead of victim operated. Like the floor is made of lava bomb. Works as well. Like, oops, hope you didn't need that foot. Also, like, the interesting thing with IEDs and just mines in general, because they're sort of similar, is you've got two types, which is anti-personnel and anti-vehicle. The anti-personnel one will detonate usually when the person steps off the pressure plate. Usually they are pressure plate operated, but the ones that are pressure plated anyway would not detonate when they're pressed. They will detonate after, you know, like detonate as he steps off, with the intent that they get the victim that operated it, plus whoever was behind him. Which is very clever and very dark. Like, there's a lot of really talented people who spend a lot of time making these things to blow up other people. And these aren't like, you know, like, it's not like General Dynamics or BAE Systems or any of those. No, these are just, you know, your regular old radicalized person in Iraq or Afghanistan, where they were mostly found and made. Because, you know, what's the point of making a bomb far away from where it's being used? That seems like a really bad idea. I think even the Taliban realised logistics weren't that smart. You know, let's not make a bomb very far away from where we're going to detonate it. But yeah, an anti-personnel one will usually blow up when the person steps away. So, you know, it gets them in the back. Oh, that really ruins your day. And then, you know, the person following behind will get it in the face. And that's a bad day as well. Whereas a anti-vehicle mine will, or IED will be detonated as soon as it is, as the pressure plate makes contact. You can also walk over an anti-vehicle mine. Because that's not sufficient weight to press it down. That's one of those weird old things, like you can just walk over one of those. And I would suspect, like if you're in a tank, that like running over an anti-personnel mine would kind of just crush the whole thing and be like, and like it wouldn't even go off because like the whole mechanism is crushed, so it can't even go boom boom. Which is good, you know. I prefer people aren't exploded. Just another one of those hot takes on this channel that you get. But anyway, happier topics. Formula One. It's alright, wasn't it? It's alright. It was a decent race. Nikita Mazepin is now legitimately a danger to everyone else on track and should be just get rid of him as soon as possible. Oh, we are all full of potatoes. I've been doing that thing that I'm not supposed to do, and that is to just drive a load of potatoes. But yeah, Mazepin he blocked Hamilton, then he blocked Verstappen. I certainly heard him moan on the radio, Verstappen, that Mazepin blocked him. Just baffling that he's still there. But yeah, again, just still confused about the time they took the penalty for Hamilton, but it must just have been engine longevity for him. Just no other really explanation. Bottas, excellent job, 10 out of 10. Nothing to say there really. He just did absolutely everything he could. Denying a win for Verstappen. He just take that. I mean, the thing with Mazepin is we are kind of starting to see exactly how big a check his stand is dropping. I mean, it's shocking to me that he's got to drive when they've had to park someone like Callum Ilott. Admittedly, he's doing GT3 stuff this year, but like just the fact that he's there doing that they've got other junior drivers coming up that won't have anywhere to go. Like it's just shocking, really, that he's still there and that the team can't do anything about it because his fucking dad's paying the whole thing. Like, I was hoping with the rumours of Andretti Autosport coming in, I was hoping they'd just take Haas off Haas and run that, but it sounds more like they're going to get Sauber. So, yeah, we'll see with that. It's just weird, really weird. Just no way, yeah, just confusing. But yeah, Hamilton did what he needed to do, really. Got the most out of it. He was kind of let down by not having DRS. Well, I'm not sure either. They needed it to be wetter than it was, or they needed it to be drier than it was. They were sort of stuck in that weird limbo of like not really being able to move over, like get a good advantage out of switching to slicks early or moving over to a new set of inters at the right time to maximise it. And they were trying to go without a stop, but you know, we now know that wasn't a real possibility for anyone. So yeah, I heard it described as the race where hindsight, you know, was just the most powerful thing because it was just impossible really to make a call in the moment. But yeah, and now I kind of have to talk about DTM even though I don't want to. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know if any of you actually watched DTM on the weekend. They were at the Norris Ring, which is in Nuremberg. Literally going like near the Nazi parade things, which is just always a bit odd when I think about that. So I could, oh yeah, that thing they run near the Nazi thing. Yeah, that's a thing they do. Because, you know, the Nazis were quite big on Nuremberg. Like, that's kind of like the whole reason why they had their trials there afterwards. Because they were like, ooh, yes, the Nazi peoples love this town. Let's judge them here. But yeah, I mean, it was just shocking. Shocking all week, especially on Sunday. Kelvin van der Linde, I mean, fucking hell. Just speared Liam Lawson down into turn 1, lap 1, broke his steering. That saw him out of the race. Then he blocked Phil Ellis just moments after to try and hold him back, which caused some damage to Kelvin's car. Then, towards the end of the fucking race, he tries to block Maximilian Goetz. And causes himself a puncture, thankfully, so he spins out. And then Mercedes just inverts their positions, so Goetz can win the championship. And I mean, oh my god, it was shocking. Absolutely shocking. Disgraceful driving. Absolutely disgraceful behaviour from Kelvin van der Linde. Absolutely shocking. Hang your head in shame. And likewise to Mercedes, I mean, admittedly, I did stop to sort of pay much attention after they moved him from third to first to get him the championship, because I was like, oh yeah, well, what's the point of this? But apparently, the Merc AMG teams that were behind just drove 3 wide around to block Nick Cassidy, who was filling in for Alex Albon in the other AF Course Red Bull AlphaTauri car from moving up, because if he won, Liam Lawson would have won the championship. I mean, shocking. Truly shocking, truly disgraceful behaviour from everybody involved, from Audi, from Mercedes. And just shocking from DTM and ITM as well, that they let that happen. It's disgraceful. I heard a comment that it was race fixing. Somebody described it as straight up, not just, team orders. No, that was race fixing. Mercedes fixed the championship by allowing him to pass. I just, how can you take it to? That's worse than SRO. Like, that is worse. SRO is kind of crap most of the time. It just feels like it's all fizz, no bang. But that was just disgraceful. Shocking. I mean, Ferrari won't be back, will they? Of course. No chance. No chance when their championship leader just gets taken out. Brayson. I mean, Kelvin wasn't ever going to make turn 1. And he made something similar, I think, in the Saturday race as well, where he was also a bit dodgy. And he had contact at Hockenheim with Albon when he was in the other AF Course car. It was just shocking. Shocking. Just, yeah. I mean, DTM had been quite good up until that point. I thought it was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright. Came alive at Red Bull Ring, as I mentioned. And then they had a few strong rounds after that. But that final round at the Norris Ring, no. Just, fucking hell. Oh, and the NLS ended. Whoa, what a race. Delayed by fog. And then they decided to just have a ding-dong battle all through the race. It was great. Just great. The exact opposite, really. Just fantastic. Great weather as well. Just beautiful, great racing. Cracking stuff. And penalties being handed out to the top 2. So if you've ever seen a race where like the cars finishing 1 and 2 is immediately demoted to, or was it 2nd and 3rd? And then the 3rd place Audi took the win. Which, well done. That's, kind of what you need to do. You kind of need to drive within the rules. I'm getting this all wrong, ain't I? Yes, I am. It's right over here. But yeah, without getting to that point in the year where there isn't really any motorsport on the weekend. I mean, this weekend there's SRO Intercontinental GT Challenge from Indianapolis. I mean, at least there's GT4 cars in that race. Otherwise, it's just kind of the world's ugliest 2 race car seems to be in it, though. Let me quickly pause here. Boom. We need to Chrome. But we need to bring you up here, and then we bring. Nope, that's not the button we push. We put. No, because now you're hidden behind this. We do. There we go. Daily sports cars for your day. Oh god, where is it? Oh no, not that hideous thing. Look at this. Look at this abomination that they came up with. It's horrible. Oh, there it is. There is one of the ugliest racing cars in the known universe. Ugh. And then to just top it all up, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, wasn't it in here? I thought it was in here. Maybe it's just been moved down here as well because it was a Lambo. It was a Lambo and it's truly atrocious. It's like a brony race car, which is shocking, really. There it is. Look at this. Look at that. Look at... Can I... No, I can't do that. Oh, no, I'm doing things I definitely shouldn't be doing. But look at that. Look at that. Can I... There you go. Look at that atrocious... Just... Ugh. I mean, everything else, but then it goes massively wrong down here when there is some sort of unicorn ball thing going on down there, which I'm sure has like been in like videos on the internet having weird things happen. But yeah, it's just it's Kenny Hubbell's Mercedes AMG. It's like used to be blue, and then had flames in it, and it's been at Bathurst, and it's just awful. Every time I see it, I just want to stab my eyes out. But yeah, I think that Lambo might take the cake. It's sort of similar to what Grasser ran. Was that in 2020 or 19 with they were going to have an all-women car or an all-female car. I don't know what the right terminology is, but Catherine Legg and Christina Nielsen were supposed to drive it, and they did drive it there, but there was some major issues after the race with the team owner, not Grasser, but the other team that had contracted in Grasser. But that looked kind of like that, and that was wicked cool. Because that had like bang, it was like a cartoon, or like a comic book car, and it said bang, and like a massive effects bubble down the sides. That was nice, that was cool. That's just atrocious. Like it's some sort of weird animal porn hentai car. Oh no, no thank you. No thank you. Although, the Lambos have been known for putting on some great liveries. They did if you remember, well you don't because I don't, but I know about it, the BMW M1 BASF livery from back in the day, which looked wicked, was done at Bathurst, I think for a couple of years. They did it, was it 1819 or 1920? Somebody ran a BASF tribute livery. Really nice. Really nice. Absolutely 10 out of 10. Race livery design works very well. Works very well indeed. Oh yeah, and moving back to the world of Formula 1-ish, they've moved back with the support races to having 2 races per weekend, rather than what they did this year, which didn't work for, I think, anyone. Where they had 3 races. They had 2 short races on the Saturday. They had 1 race with reversed grid space and qualifying, and the second one was reversed grids based upon the results of the first race, but only for like the top 8 or the top 10 depending on the championship. So if you had a shitty first race, you'd get the double whammy of dropping points in the second race as well. So pretty much, yeah, it was just didn't work. And the calendar for next year has been announced, and we're continuing down the route of despots. I mean, at the very least, the Imola, which is okay for Formula 1. I mean, I wouldn't say it's great, but, you know, it's back in there now. I mean, not that great, actually. It shouldn't have Formula 1 because it's not suited for it. It just doesn't work. Like, the race last year wasn't particularly good. We did see, like, a tractor in qualifying last year. That was neat. Oh boy. And then this year, yeah, it was that weird wet-ish, dry-ish kind of race. We've had a lot of wet races recently, like damp stroke wet races anyway. Like to the point where we don't really need any more. Anyway, great news! It's not the Dacia Sandero, but it is the fact that we now wrapped up this old southern part of the field, and now we just need to figure out. That's the wrong way. I need to go this way. I mean, it is. We are approaching morning. It should start to get light soon. I mean, I would like to stress the fact that it says late autumn and it's 14 degrees at this time of day, which it definitely isn't. Like right now, it's like 9 degrees here. It's pretty bloody cold. But hey ho, hey ho. Oh wow, that's a lot of flash, isn't it? So let's not go near that. Really dramatic change of engine note right here. Where's the bungle? Oh, we've got some potatoes. Drop. Wrong side. Oops. And then we will just drop these off down here by the end. That's a lot of potatoes, by the way. Which again, I can go and just go, yeah, see this, Britain? Suck on my dick. I got potatoes and you got jack shit. They've just removed, I read earlier, they removed their cabotage rules, which again is a very cool sounding thing, because who doesn't want to do some cabotage? It's very boring if you're not from Europe and you don't know what cabotage is. It's just not doing too many deliveries as a haulier in a country. No, let's definitely not put on the music down here. I'm just struggling with my buttons. Nope. There we go. That's the thing we want to do. Your cabotage, like you have your limit to like 3 deliveries inside of a foreign country before you have to leave. It's really complicated. Because in order to not, like, you know, undercut the local hauliers, you as a foreign haulier, as a driver, can only do 3 deliveries within a country that isn't your own before you have to leave and do at least 1 delivery elsewhere to just stop people from getting the system. But the UK government has decided to remove that rule from November the 1st, I think it is, in what I can only... pressed the wrong thing there. In a desperate move to try and ease their supply issues, which understandably hasn't gone down well with the haulage industry in the UK, because shit, what are we going to do now? Because now anybody coming over here can kind of just take all our work. So what I think they've managed to do there, the UK government, is both make the UK incredibly unattractive for foreign lorry drivers and also make it incredibly unattractive and piss off even more their own haulage industry, which is really well done. The UK government can do one thing very well, and that is to fuck up everything. Just stupid idiots. Yeah. Talking about deliveries, we need HGV and train drivers here as well. No, America. Again, see, the whole thing is, it's a good idea until the whole concept of going to America is introduced to this sort of fray, because then it's all off the table, really. But then again, there's there's lorry driver shortages all over the sort of Western world, certainly. Actually, I think it's to the point where, what was it that I heard, that Eastern European lorry drivers are coming to the Western Europe to do work, and they're then bringing in other people like Russians and is it the Nepalese as well? Or I think it is. There's certainly one of those countries, but presumably also Kazakhstani and all of that. Uzbekistani coming over to do driving in their countries. I mean, that's also happening here. Like also with the Philippines. There was a whole thing here a couple of years ago with a Danish firm that, via a Polish subcontractor that was themselves, brought in Filipino lorry drivers and just basically made them live in really terrible conditions. I'm stuck now. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck now on a tree. I'm free of the tree. The tree gods have seen it fit to let me go, and thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, it's just so weird. Like here, there's a lorry driver shortage as well. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that young people don't really want to have that job. Like, even if you look into it, like the job advertisements, it was mentioned here like a little while ago. Like, how can it be attractive to work, admittedly, 4 days a week, I think was the example, from like 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Like, if you want to have like a life alongside, I mean, it's not the job the Danes don't want to do. It's more the fact that, well, it's kind of really hard to say really what it is. I mean, you can just look at the UK, the jobs they are struggling with manpower now was the jobs that basically Eastern Europeans were doing. And guess what? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much that. It's the jobs that the local people don't want to do, or that just isn't that attractive. One of the weird things, if I suppose if you compare it with America over here, one of the big issues is people educating into a degree that has no relevance or no need for in real life. Like, people don't take into account what they want to do with the degree. So, like, they might study, I don't know, ancient Roman history, or something quite weird, or something, I don't know, really, degrees and all of that sort of stuff. But you can get a degree in something that basically has no practical use in real life because nobody needs it, whilst, you know, loads of trades like plumbers, carpenters, builders, all of that sort of stuff, and indeed lorry drivers and all of that stuff kind of can't get, you know, people in. Like, there's shortages of those, and yet people aren't going for it, and it's really fucking weird because I think there's a lot of people that would be far happier if they got a job like that. Because there's definitely here just a trend of, like, particularly among girls and young women, that they're kind of just shoehorned towards kind of bookish stuff, and blokes, well, boys and young men are going into, like, historically going into, like, trades. Like, they become a mechanic, you know, like a builder or something like that. Whereas, you know, we just need it all, really. We don't really need people to do that because, you know, it's kind of good. Yeah, Roman historians aren't needed. Classicists isn't really, you know, much in demand in the world right now, as far as I'm aware. Or, like, you can get, like, a degree in Spanish. But in Denmark, there aren't a lot of Spanish speakers. So the whole market for people who are fluent in Spanish is fairly small, you know? Like, you might be really fucking good at what you do, but that's kind of pointless if it can't be used anywhere. And then you just got a fancy degree that aren't worth the paper it's written on. So yeah, it's just one of those really weird things that happen over here, where people get a degree in something that just doesn't really have any use when there's lots of other things that they could be doing. And yeah, like, farms over here are also using, and like even the construction industry, like that whole industry is, there's a lot of Eastern Europeans working in it. Because, you know, houses got to get built and maintained. Like, it just, again, with the whole Brexit thing, it just seems so stupid and ill thought through by the public that they didn't, for some reason, put two and two together. In my eyes, like, I mean, why are you so angry about people coming over and taking your jobs? Like, you know? Because a lot of those jobs, you either don't have people that want to do those jobs, So it's more the concept of the fact that you want things, but you don't want people that aren't your own people doing them. And that's the whole problem. I don't understand it, because isn't it better, in my mind, that your bathroom gets mended if a pipe bursts than it doesn't get mended at all, and then your entire house floods because there's no plumber in that can do it? Because all the plumbers that were there has now gone back to Romania or Bulgaria, and they're doing their plumbing there. Oh God, what was it that I also read this week, that now Romania's starting to have issues themselves of, they have labour shortages themselves. They don't have enough fruit pickers for the autumn, which sounds far dirtier than it is, I'm sure. It's just a matter of not having people to pick fruits. So they're now bringing in other people to do that from like Nepal and that as well. It's bizarre, really. So in effect, you've got Romanians doing that here, whilst they could be doing it in Romania, but because their people have left, they've then got some other immigrants in to do that job, and it's just a vicious cycle, really. But yeah, it's just one of those things that make you go, just weird. And maybe, you know, in the future, think things through a bit, you know, just chill and just try and figure out how the world works. Because I've also heard the take with regards to the UK and their lorry drivers is that there isn't necessarily a shortage of drivers. There's a shortage of qualified or competent drivers for a lot of positions. Because, all right, you know, your box standard supermarket delivery, that's one thing, and, you know, fairly simple to do. But you can get trained and then you realise afterwards that the job isn't for you, or doing those deliveries is, you know, anything above that, like if you get into crane or machinery, doing building materials, all of that stuff, even going into then ADR, which is what they've struggled with more recently with fuel deliveries, it's even more specialised because you can't do that. And then the UK government decided that, like, they should just send out a letter to anybody in the country that might have, you know, been able to legally drive a lorry in the past, which apparently in Germany, you were able to, on a normal B licence, you were able to drive like a small lorry up to 7.5 tonnes. And for some reason, the British government decided that they should definitely get the letter about delivering fuel as well, despite the fact that most of them probably have never driven anything bigger than a car. It was purely just a bureaucratic thing that they were allowed to do it. They didn't do it. And certainly they don't have the necessary ADR qualifications, and even if they did, chances are pretty low on them actually keeping that up to date, because, you know, if it lapses for too long, you'll need to completely redo it, because an ADR is something you need to regularly requalify for. So yeah, it's just a whole load of just, what were you guys thinking? But hey ho, just easier when you're looking from the outside in, I suppose. Sort of what you can say. I mean, also with the MP dying, we had, well, we didn't, but Norway had some person, I think he's actually a Danish citizen who, and again, this is the difference between, you know, this kind of terrorist attack in America and in Europe. This bloke used a bow and arrow to kill people. No, don't do music. The copyright gods are going to come down and they're going to shoot me in the face. And then piss on me, because that's what they like to do. One of them copyright gods. Could we get just a bit of light so I can actually see what I'm bloody doing here? Oh, hello, potato. You are my lucky potato. It's taken me so long to make that joke. Come on, guys. Come on, I have to do it. Give me a laugh. Ah ha 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 ha. I'm so good. Yes, I am. But then we just snip it around here. We get into position and get started. Yep, come on. No. Power down. Thank you. Gracias, amigos. How much is left? Let's very quickly just bring up you here. I mean, we're doing a fairly decent sort of job here, aren't we? And we're coming to the end Well, it's now, what, about a month and a bit away now, the next Farming Simulator 22. I have to remember to call it the correct thing. Where they recently put out a new update blog post thing about supply chains, or production chains, which is, again, remarkably on point. Yeah, that whole thing was just a giant. I mean, again, I think I talked about it in the last stream. Norwegian police technically aren't armed, but they have their firearms in the car. It seems like this was the kind of situation where they definitely should be having the firearms on them, so they were able to respond to that. Because, you know, that's fucking insane. Like, generally, I try to ignore reading too much about those kind of incidents, because unless it happens in Denmark, it just happens some other place, and, well, it is a tragedy for those involved. I just don't see how reading or learning more about it adds any value to my life. Like, it just feels like it's one of those things where the media just hones in on because, you know, it's the kind of shocking thing that generates a lot of traffic on your websites and all of that sort of stuff. But in terms of having any actual sort of gravitas, like, I wish the Pandora Papers received quite as much attention and outrage as something like that does. I mean, admittedly, the Czech, or is it president, lost the election because of it, arguably. But in terms of having outrage in so many other countries, particularly, again, the UK, which now, again, it's starting to become quite obvious why they wanted to leave the EU, and why the Tory government has been so keen up to the last election to not have the report on Russian interference published. Because they kinda sort of control them, you know? It's a bit like Trump, but they've managed to stay in power. I just wish, you know, there was kind of like the same outrage about that, because that feels like it's has significant more impact than some bloke just murdering some people. I mean, obviously for those involved, it's a massive tragedy for the families, and that, you know, you can't really say anything other than that it's just fucking awful. But in terms of like a wider societal impact, I'm kind of just going, yeah, maybe we should focus more on, you know, the fact that there are people trying to just not pay tax, and thus are condemning a lot of people to like a significantly worse life. Like, I'm not one for wanting to name and shame. I really fucking appreciate the fact that we have proper privacy laws that protect people until they've been proven innocent. However, if you dodge tax, you are fucking over everyone, and you deserve to be publicly shamed. You have made a decision that says, no, I do not need to do what everybody else in society do. I do not need to play by society's norms. I do not need to do my part to keep the country running and pay my taxes, make sure that everyone can do things, that we can pay the social workers that work with the weakest in society. They don't need to be paid. Hospital workers. There's a whole thing going on over here about pay for nurses and doctors, because they went on strike. It's a really complicated thing that I think Americans might not quite understand, but over here, like, nurses, doctors, they go on strike. But it just means that they choose a number of, you know, their staff who go on strike, and the rest carry on as usual. Ambulance crews can strike over here. It just means they won't do anything other than respond to emergency calls. They won't do any patient transfers or any of that stuff. They're just literally just going to respond to emergency calls, and that's it. But there was a thing, they weren't pleased with the pay rises that they were getting in the negotiations, so they went on strike, because that's what you do if, you know, you present your the terms of employment, the new terms of, you know, pay and all of that sort of stuff. You present that to among the union members, and they vote on it, and if they vote to accept it, all is honky-dory. If they say no, then obviously there's an issue here, and if they can't negotiate in time, they will give a warning about a strike, or they will give a notice of strike, which they did, and then they, in this case, because, you know, doctors and nurses can't just all go on strike, because, you know, people need to have their lives saved by them, so they nominate a number of doctors and nurses, specific ones, like they literally pick out specific doctors and nurses and say, you will be on strike from this day, and it might just be one person in one unit that gets on one shift that gets to go on strike, but that person is now on strike and they will have to be on strike. And so eventually over here the government intervened, because the government can do that, and just basically put in some legislation that stipulated what their thing would be. And understandably, they weren't very happy about that. So they've continued to have a walkout, I think it's for like an hour or something like that, where one hospital in one unit will like walk out. Obviously, it's not the emergency room that does this, but there will be one unit that will just walk out for like an hour and just stand outside the hospital just to prove a point, even though it's against, it's like a things like it's a non-approved strike, because there are certain terms where you can go on strike, and it's like agreed upon that, you know, if this thing isn't met or this thing doesn't happen, then you're allowed to strike. This thing isn't, but I kind of can't fault them in any way, because what other way do they have to make it clear that they aren't pleased about, you know, the government intervening in their working conditions? And I feel like doctors, nurses have kind of shown to be important to society recently. There's been some sort of pandemic going on, you know? And it just seems to me that maybe, you know, we should pay them a bit more, because we now know kind of how important they are. And like, we definitely don't want to go the way of the UK and just chronically underfund the public sector in order to try and, well, with the intent really to try and privatise it down the road, which has now backfired. But again, enough about that. So it's just a really weird situation where I'm kind of agreeing with them, even though it's technically wrong. But, you know, sometimes doing the wrong thing's the right thing, because they have no other way of making it clear. Like, it's bizarre to me that in the UK the police can't strike, for example. It's just been banned by law that police officers can't strike. Because there was like a police strike some years ago, I think it was many years ago in the UK, which, as you can imagine, doesn't go well. It's really bad when the police are on strike. Because in terms of what's probably going to have the most devastating effect to society, I mean, ambulance crews striking, yeah, alright, we will deal with emergencies, but, you know, those non-emergency calls and patient transfers and that can wait, you know, that's bad, but it's not super bad. Firemen and strikes like that, yeah, but there's like the civil defence and all of that can, in theory, sort of do that, should it be necessary. But the police, now, there's only one other group of, you know, government people who can do that, and that's the military police. Now, the military police isn't big enough to police the public, and also they aren't familiar with civil law. They operate mostly around military-related offences. I mean, alright, yeah, your typical, you know, assaults and all of that will be covered, and drugs and all of that, but, you know, they're not going to do many civilians for absconding without permission, are you? Or absent without leave and all of that sort of stuff. It's very weird. Very weird. Just the world, innit? Weird old time to be in. Oh yeah, and Bathurst announced that technically SRO announced the Bathurst 12 Hour will return on Sebring weekend, which is 10 out of 10 planning there. Oh, yeah. That's a busy weekend if you like motorsport, because you've got the WEC, you've running also at Sebring, you've got IMSA at Sebring, you've got IndyCar at Texas Motor Speedway, and you got your Bathurst 12 Hour at Bathurst. yeah, genuinely baffling. Genuinely just baffling. But again, like, compared with the fact that, you know, people died in Norway, yeah, it probably isn't the biggest kind of thing. I read, like, that the Norwegian police might refer themselves to, like, the Special Complaints Unit over the fact that they were called, and that, well, that, in effect, he was able to carry it out after they had been, you know, called to him. Because that feels like it's slightly a failure in the police. The police should very much do something about that, if it happens. And, like, the fact that they knew that he was dangerous and that he'd been approached, it just seems like it's a running trend, like down, wasn't it in New Zealand, where there was some sort of attack like a little while ago, where also they were like, yeah, we knew he was like radicalized and we tried to do something, but we didn't really get around to it in time. Whoopsies. It feels kind of like the approach to that is a bit too softy, you know? Maybe you kind of need to just be like, yeah, this person's a danger to society. Because, you know, definitely these people definitely were. But, you know, mostly my approach is pretty much, as I said, to just be like, yeah, it happened, but I can't do anything about that because, you know, far away, innit? Different country. Just another one of the many things that happened. And you can, like, start to read in about, like, the way the refugees are being treated along, certainly the Polish, the Belarusian, the Turkish border, the Croatian border as well. My God, they've been talked about as being quite shit as well. You kind of go, yeah, there's so much shit happening around the world. The only difference is we now hear about it more than we used to. Which I suppose is like the main difference with, you know, back in the day, in inverted commas. Like, the world was still shit back in the day. You just didn't get to hear about it on the news. The news was far more focused on what was happening in your country. But hey ho, that's just life. Like, there was in, was it 15? There was an attack here on, coincidentally, on one of the cartoonists that recently died in a road crash alongside 2 police officers in Sweden. Well, arguably, even though we're talking about the Swedish police here, they were probably the biggest loss to Swedish society in that one, because he was a racist cunt. But he was in Copenhagen doing some sort of freedom of speech kind of thing. That just seems to be a thinly veiled argument that, yes, we should be allowed to be racist in public, and, you know, because it's Muslims, it's okay to be racist against them. That's very much the running theme here, anyway. And then somebody was like, oh, let's not do that. So they used and this, again, just typical, really, they used an assault rifle that had been stolen from the military, because apparently our military is really lax about their firearm safety. Well, not safety, but, you know, security and in storage. Like, apparently a lot of their weapons get nicked every year. Like, there was at one point, they just nicked a load of weapons one time, I seem to remember. It was just like a bunch of rifles were nicked, and just like, okay, like, is there at least like maybe just one person working security at night? You know, in terms of just having the weapons the military's going to use kept safe. Just, you know, actually maybe you need more than one, because, you know, if you have just one person working security, that person can get involved in some sort of scheme to steal them and let in the bad guys. Whereas if you have 2 people working, oh, you need to convert 2 people to your scheme, and that can be difficult. Which is kind of why most jobs should be done in pairs, in that sense, because, you know, you're less likely to get that kind of corruption if you work in pairs. Same thing really with my view on, you know, police. Like, police work in pairs, because in terms of the police anyway, less likely to escalate your use of force if you have two officers on scene because it's easier to control one subject. So, you know, like just having two, and just in terms of frame of mind for people, you know, they're fighting two people instead of one. They're more willing, in theory anyway, to go quietly than if it's just the one officer. And likewise, if it does come to use of force, you are far... it's a far higher... I'll try again. There's a far higher chance that you'll be able to subdue that person without escalating to any use of force beyond, you know, hand-to-hand and handcuffs. Which, you know, is beneficial to everyone, because the less use of force, the better it is for everyone involved. But what do I know? I just live in a country that was... I think it was like I read just before it went live, like the best justice system in the world, which is good. I like that. I don't want to know where certain other countries came on that list. I also read that a film in Russia was shut down. A viewing was shut down after masked men burst into a viewing. A film about the Soviet famine in the Ukraine, well, the famine in Ukraine during the Soviet era, because, you know, they weren't big on Ukraine. Like, Russia back then would kind of just shut off supplies and goods to the Ukraine if they felt like it, or if they felt that the Ukraine had somehow misbehaved or haven't done what they wanted them to do. So, yeah. Oh, and in Moscow, I also read the subway system there. They've now got Face ID pay system, which is fucking terrifying. Like, the last fucking thing I want to do is be able to pay with my face. Like, Face ID is just not anything that should be seen outside of dystopian sci-fi. And oh, look at that, the sun's rising. Are we going to be able to see stuff soon? That's nice, isn't it? But yeah, that's... Oh, Face ID, no thank you. Just need to be banned. Banned by... Well, not the Geneva Convention. Not even banned by the UN, because UN's pointless anyway. But yeah, that's just a highway to nowhere good in particular, as far as I'm concerned. Just nothing good's going to come out of that. Fuck me in the butthole. Like, especially with Russia. Like, they're not known for being particularly good with the whole civil rights and civil liberties and making sure that, you know, the opposition is well respected and protected. And make sure that, you know, no harm comes to them. Especially if said opposition has moved to, say, Salisbury in the UK. Some of your agents might decide that they need to go over there on a vacation to look at that beautiful cathedral with the spire. Just, you know, one of those things that happen. One of those unfortunate things that can happen. Yeah. So weird. And again, just fucking insane that Formula 1 is still going there. And that they're going to be going to Qatar and Saudi fucking Arabia this year. Disgraceful. Like, just absolutely no point down here. I mean, could you imagine if motorsport had an ethics committee where things had to go past in order to be put into effect? Half the Formula 1 calendar wouldn't exist. Because we start out, like next year we're due to start off in Bahrain, which isn't a nice country at all. Then they're due to go, I mean, where was it? Was it to... I mean, I can open it up. I've got my fucking phone in my hand. I can open it up here. Let's go to racer.com. Scrolly downy, scrolly downy, scrolly downy. Yep. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, then Australia, then Imola, then... Miami, South Beach, bring the heat. And if anybody out there is old enough to remember that song by Will Smith, then clearly you and I are far too old to be on YouTube. and definitely far too old to be on anything like approaching modern social media, because just don't understand social media. It's just very weird. I'm very old in that respect, to be honest. Yeah, like, I don't understand TikTok. But yeah, Formula 1, Australia, then Imola, Emilia-Romagna, and then Miami, Spain, Monaco, then Azerbaijan, very dodgy, Canada, a bit dodgy, the UK, dodgy, Austria, I mean, they had a rocky patch in the 30s and 40s, but they've sort of straightened that out. France, Hungary, going wrong again, Belgium, just Belgium in it, then Zandvoort, Italy, it's a bit dodgy. Then Russia, very dodgy. Singapore, somewhat dodgy. Japan, okay. USA, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. I mean, just wrapping it up, we're just going down the drain. Half of those races shouldn't be on the bloody calendar if everyone had any morals and ethics. Like the whole "we rate as one" is clearly just virtue signalling and has absolutely no substance whatsoever. Otherwise, fucked it again. I'm an idiot. We'll just need to empty this and then figure out how much I fucked that for. I feel it's a while, but at the very least we'll be able to see things a bit more clearly soon. And it's not even bloody raining, but I am looking forward to Farming Simulator 20. Oh, and on Thursday, the Thrustmaster. Oi, oi. T248 coming out, and I'm very excited about it. Although I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to get my hands on it, because it's not popped up on my my preferred thing where you buy stuff. What's that called? Website that things you buy at, and they have it, and then you buy it, and then it arrives. Oh god, what? Online shop. That's the word. No. Oh, it's fucking Friday. Where should we have all the? It's actually Grands. The A is actually on the S after Grands. It's Grands Prix. Because it's French, and the French are very weird when it comes to words. Like, you don't pronounce an S if it's at the end of a word, but only in certain cases. Yeah, just the French seems to just make up languages on a whim, as far as I'm concerned. Well, where to hold them? I mean, obviously, most of the races should be in New Zealand. But in terms of countries that, aren't actively worse than against human rights, I mean, the UK is a bit dodgy on that ground now, and it's probably only going to get dodgier. But, there's some decent laws in Germany. I mean, it's just shocking that, everyone's racing in Texas. Do you know what I read earlier as well? Because on my breaks at work, I just read boring newspapers, not, the exciting tabloid ones. No, I read the boring ones that have, like, proper stories that tell you about the world. That there's, like, is it Southlake in Texas, a school district, where they are now being forced, or where the principal told the teachers that if they have a booking class about the Holocaust, they must offer opposing views? What the fuck, Texas? The Holocaust is not a political viewpoint. The Holocaust is an undeniable fact. Just insane. And I read, like, is it something like 22 states in the US that have banned critical race theory, which is sort of the thing about going, yeah, society's kind of racist. That's bad. No, we can't talk about that. We are the system. We can't talk about the fact that we might be bad because we're American. America's always good. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, yeah, and if you don't behave, you can just bring a gun to school, and just shoot everybody. That's fine. That's fine. There's no problems there. It's just madness. And I think that law was passed, so I mean, the whole wording of everything around that was just bizarre. Because it was something about the tunes of that they couldn't make anybody feel guilt or shame based upon their gender or race and all of that. But, oh yeah, here it is. In the click, Gina Petty. You already know you're off to a bad start with a name like that. The Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction for Carroll Independent School District in Southlake. Click the video, don't do that. We're in the middle of a political mess. And you're in the middle of a political mess. Bit redundant, but whatever. And so we just have to do the best we can. Boom, 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 boom. It followed the passage of a new Texas law that requires teachers who discuss widely debated and currently controversial issues of public policy or social affairs to examine the issues from diverse viewpoints without giving deference to any one perspective. And apparently the fucking Holocaust needs a counter-argument. Oh, hang on. Shall we get all the dead Jews on the phone? See what their opposing viewpoint to your ignorant fuckfaces. Just fuck off. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, I think just further down here, at the training, Petty advised teachers to remember the requirements of the new law according to the audio and make sure that if you have a book on the Holocaust, she said, that you have one that has an opposing, that has other perspectives. Because apparently it's a fucking perspective. Which prompted a teacher to ask what would be the opposing view of the Holocaust. Well done, teacher. See, there are good ones out there. There's good ones out there. Yeah, I'd like to know what the opposing point of the Holocaust is. Just for reference, what is the opposite of the Holocaust? I'd like to know, too. Can I get some answer down here? Oh, apparently the district superintendent didn't immediately respond to comment, presumably because they were too busy doing the Holocaust again. And it also mentioned something. 22 states has passed or were considering laws to ban or restrict conversations about race and racism in public school classrooms. As of August, in July, Iowa passed a law banning educators from teaching content that could lead to discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress on account of that individual's race or sex. Somehow, I have a feeling they don't mean like talking about people feeling bad about being trans or gay. Somehow, I have a strong feeling that has absolutely nothing to do with that, and it's all to do with the fact that, oh God, we may have done a bad and the best country in the world trademark can't be seen as doing that amongst themselves. I mean, what the fuck? Like, it's not that long ago that America was seen as this sort of beacon of Western civilization. Like, they were the leading countries in the world, like, now it's just not. It's just madness. Genuinely just fucking madness. You can't do that. You can't do that. The job of the school system is to teach people about that. Part of my fucking school were my teachers telling me to be critical of what I read in the media, to be critical of everything that here, to be critical of politicians, of information coming into us, because people might try and manipulate you into believing things that aren't true. That's important. That's fucking important that young people are taught all of that. It's just madness. like even in terms of just the US education system, one of the weirdest fucking things is like sex education. That's not even done properly over there. What the fuck? And then you get that, like, oh yeah, we can't talk about being racist. I fucking learned about all that bullshit in school. I learned about Rosa fucking Parks, Martin Luther King, all of that fucking stuff. Malcolm X was part of my English teachings in school. Like, we had textbook stuff about all of that stuff. Oh, what was it? Shit, I just found it recently, and I opened up an English textbook that I for some reason have because it's school property, so I definitely shouldn't, but I do. Hashtag I'm a criminal. And it was something about the 5 or like the 3 that was some sort of civil rights movement. I want to say like the Milwaukee 5 or the Cincinnati 5 or something like that. It was just there, and it's just... That's really important to learn about. Because you need to face up to the fact that you can be wrong, that you were in the wrong, that you as a country have a dark history. Yes, we learned about Rosa Parks in school. We learned about segregation. We learned about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It was part of the English curriculum in the textbooks that we had. It was... Oh God, I think it was called Flying Cat, that one. Admittedly, it wasn't like when we started out in like 5th grade. We didn't go straight into segregation. And like, it came later on, you know, when you were close to leaving school. But yeah, it's just fucking insane. But like here, schools here are like really nice. It's one of those weird things. Like, I did some college time, which sounded like I went to prison, but no, it's literally just I went to college with somebody who was a German from the border area, and their parents sent them to a Danish school in northern Germany because they preferred the relationship that the Danish school system has with their students. Like, it's a far more relaxed and informal relationship. Like, you don't have to go yes sir, no sir, all of that. It's just just laid back, just creating a positive teaching environment where the students usually aren't afraid of their teacher, which I think we can all agree is a very fucking good thing. And their teachers are actually teaching people sensible stuff and aren't hung up on all of that sort of weird bullshit that sometimes happened in other places. I don't know if it was the Central Park 5. I mean, I don't even know if I can find any information about that book. Because I think I put the box where it was in my... No, I'm just getting loads of memes about cats flying when I Google that. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter, really. But yeah, we learned about all that stuff, and yeah, because it's important about her not wanting to give up a bus. No, yeah, Rosa Parks didn't want to give up a bus. She had a bus. She didn't want to give it up. She just had a whole bus. She was like, "Fuck y'all, I ain't giving up my bus." No, she didn't want to give up her seat in the bus for like a white person because that was required, and then that ended up sparking an entire riot, and then things started changing. Yeah. I mean, and that's like even seen with January 6th in mind, that is really what needs to happen in order for change to happen, is people in general need to stand up and say this is not acceptable. Because it's just so many things. We learned about, again, like I talked about the last time, the Irish potato famine we learned about. Also in English. Like, that was the kind of stuff that they include in the curriculum. Because, it's important to know about these things. I mean, we have very few sort of background. I mean, admittedly, the entire, Viking Age for us was you know, in retrospect, no, definitely not in retrospect. In retrospect, because I mean, I don't think it was particularly gay. Admittedly, it was fairly hetero. But you know, in retrospect, you know, going to England and you know, raping and pillaging, pretty bad. But many years ago that happened. Many years ago. Other than that, we had, I think it was like one colony in the West Indies, and we sold that one to America because that just seems really dark, you know, and we sort of having a reckoning about that as well. And there's a whole thing about Greenland because, you know, that is just basically an old colony of ours that admittedly is now a sort of part of, you know, the... again, words are difficult because it's called Rigsfællesskabet, which is like the sort of union of kingdom. Like it's very similar to the German word Reich, which admittedly just means the same thing, just in another language. So, yeah, and like they kind of want their independence, or some do, and you know that kind of is like okay. I feel kind of like it's none of our business if they do, you know. But yeah, it's just a bit weird because if they go independent, it's kind of like a whole thing. Like there was a whole thing a few years ago because the US had a base up there, at the Thule base, and they abandoned that and they just left a load of toxic waste. Like just a whole fucking load of toxic waste they just kind of dumped. I was like, fuck you, not our problem anymore, we're gone. You deal with our bullshit. Which, yeah, it's not great. But there's a whole sort of dark side to Greenland and the impact that we've had on them. It's a bit like, I suppose, like the native Alaskan communities where there's, I know, quite a high amount of alcohol dependency and that kind of stuff going on. It's sort of the same up there. Because we arrived and we introduced like a whole load of bullshit into them, and it's just kind of like they weren't really in any position to process all of that in like a good way. So yeah. And like in terms of our country, it is like the biggest part. Because technically it is Danish. It's like the majority of Denmark is Greenland. It's just frozen ice. Because like Iceland, not Iceland, but Greenland famously is the biggest island in the world. And we have literally got a military unit that's dedicated to making sure it's sort of ours according to the UN, because I believe the UN requires countries to have a permanent presence which is defined in some way. So if we don't keep up patrolling that area regularly and, you know, making sure it's locked down and all of that, well, you know, logged that we go there, it will become sort of nobody's country and somebody else can claim it. Yeah, no. Your president was like, oh God, I need a diversion from all of this stuff that's currently going on in my country. And that didn't go well for him. Because, yeah. I mean, he went up against, you know, a strong woman, you know, that was leading a country. That's like his worst nightmare, is like a strong woman. Like Donald Trump was and still is the poster child for toxic masculinity, and going up against someone like Theresa May, Angela Merkel, or Jacinda Ardern, or our Prime Minister at the moment, is kind of like going up against the arch nemesis. It's a bit like going up against that Cortez, who's really good. Really good. You guys just make a president, please. Like an actual left-wing person in America. What the fuck's going on with that? Like, yeah, Bernie Sanders is just like a brave and old bloke. But she's really good. I like her. I mean, but yeah, it's up there. It's like a whole thing that we kind of need to just accept that we really massively fucked up, and we need to be very apologetic about it. Because yeah, yeah, no, it's not good. Oh yeah, and on god, was it Monday or Tuesday? I finished not Game of Thrones, but I finished reading the whole series of books. Really good. I get hot tip here, cultural hot tip right here. Read A Song of Ice and Fire. Those books are good. Yeah, Greenland, loads of ice, plenty of ice. There's some villages dotted about alongside the coast, but everything inside is kind of permafrost. It's like ice, literally just ice. We don't know what's under the ice, so we really don't want to give it up. It's quite crucial because we're kind of trying to claim a lot of the Arctic Circle as ours, because we don't know if there's like oil or nuclear material or whatever is going on down there, and also with climate change and ice melting and that, it can kind of have a serious impact on all of that. It's a whole thing with like countries like trying to stake claims up there at the moment. China, Russia, the US, and Denmark too are like being really aggressive when they can up there and trying to just try and claim land. Like again, there's the friendliest border conflict is between Denmark and Canada, which is a weird fucking thing to say. Like, you wouldn't go, oh yes, I know which two countries would have a border issue. It's Denmark and Canada. So that does actually mean that we are just one land border away. Oh god, that's a frightening thing, isn't it? But that's kind of like saying that technically Finland and Norway, no, not Norway, but Finland is one country, or there's one country between it and North Korea, because there is a small border between North Korea and Russia. Is it near Yekaterinburg or Yakutsk or one of those? It's right over there. I think it is. Is it Yekaterinburg? Oh god, no. See, now I get really confused because I think it's Yekaterinburg. I think it is. I don't think it's Yakutsk. I can go right over because it's right over. Oh, stop tractor. Mongolia. Oh, Mongolia. It's right over. Where is? There is North Korea. It's near Vladivostok. Of course it is. It's near Vladivostok. There is a border between it and North Korea. It's a very conspicuous border because it's stopping that sort of whole area, stopping China from reaching near the reaching the sea near up there north of North Korea. But yeah, Greenland, there is some stuff going on up there. There's like some Arctic bases, and there's some patrols going on. The Sirius Patrol is up there, which again is the military unit that patrols the area and keeps our claim of that area intact, so it's still part of ours. And I imagine there are like a few villages and stuff up there, which again is just, I can't imagine living there. Just insane. But it's their country, like legitimately it is. And yeah, like there was a tsunami in Greenland a couple of years ago, I remember. That was pretty, again, it's by Scandinavian standards a devastating tsunami. A tsunami can't really be anything but devastating when it hits land. But it wasn't like the one in Thailand. But yeah, back to Game of Thrones. It's really good. It's really good. Like, I bought the first book because of a recommendation from a friend. I wasn't sure it was my thing at all. I've only heard a few things about the TV series, and it was like, yeah, it's just loads of titties and lots of violence, and that's like my 2 points of this isn't very good if they're padding it out with that. They're just trying to hide the fact there's no substance, but it's really good. Like, there's very little incest in the books, which is great. Obviously, if you haven't like read it or seen it, probably there's going to be a few spoilers. But I feel like, you know, the first book is from like the 90s, and even like some of the more recent ones, I remember the dedication at the start was to like a bloke who was like a slayer of DOS, because that was back when DOS was a thing you dealt with on a computer. So yeah, but it's really good. It's problematic around how it views women, and like most of the characters are quite young, which seems like something they have to conveniently work around if they were to, oh well, not if they were, but you know they did famously do a TV series about it. Oh boy, I yawn. But yeah, it's really good. Really good, 10 out of 10, great book series. Now I don't know what to read though. Don't know what to read, it's really sad. Finished reading that, but it's really good. Who doesn't like wolf children though? Who doesn't like wolf children? Like, that's like the coolest thing ever. Like fucking wolf children, children with giant fucking wolves as pets. Yes, I'm in, 10 out of 10. Best family. You know, bit heady, but you can get around that. And I can't fucking believe how he left the final fucking book. Again, spoilers. Just fucking insane. Like, apparently, I'm assuming because the fucking thing has made him so much fucking money, there's no impetus to keep writing on it. Because there's so fucking long between the books. But it's really good. Like, Jesus, it's kind of like towards the end it starts getting a bit weird. Like, again, spoilers. With Rickon, when Rickon and Bran splits up and Bran goes north, like, Rickon isn't talked about at all in the books. So what's happened to him? Like, they were going to take him somewhere and keep him safe, but he's not been mentioned. And like, Caitlyn, like, she dies, and then for one point she's like, oh yeah, she's not dead, and then she kills Brienne, and then Brienne isn't dead apparently, and then Caitlyn wasn't dead, but that's just not referenced again in the later books. Like, what the fuck, mate? How, we're not going to talk about the woman that has like half a face missing, and that's definitely going around like literally just avenging the people that were at the wedding and played a part in it. We're just gonna ignore that. Okay, fine, that's cool. We can do that. We can do that. All right. Yep. That seems like something definitely worth ignoring. And Sansa just disappearing, just weird. But it's really weird with that, like, how fiction, because I'm not a big fiction guy. But, like, at the start, I was like, oh, yeah, Bran was kicked down by Jaime. Oh, yeah, so what? Big whoop. Just, you know, just a kid in it. But then by, like, book 2 or book 3, I was, like, really protective of them. Because, you know, you care about them at the start. I didn't. Just a kid in it. Because he's all brother and sister fucking. Just medieval things, hashtag. But like the books, you care about them, and then you're like, no, please don't rape her, please don't. Oh, you didn't, yay. It's weird, innit? Uh-oh, I've gone out where I shouldn't go again. Gone out in the dangerous muddy section. Also, let's quickly check in a moment. I don't have any water with me, and I've been talking for quite a while now. I should definitely get some water. But no, we're doing this. Let's just get this lined up somewhat decently. Here we go, and boom. Oh, you need some cleanliness. You need that. Alrighto, let's pause here. Let's move. You. Yes. I bought a big bucket. Too big for this thing. So the Brexit loader now has to go in here and sort it out. This can be Lord David Frost. Let's call him that. Yes. He's about to be as full of shit as the real David Frost, innit? So scoop this up. But yeah, that's again a Song of Ice and Fire, really good. Hot tip again, not at all hot, but hey ho. It's really good. Now I need to figure out what to read. I know the final book in the what is it? The collection of RUC Rock stories are coming out here in November. I saw, which will be very good. Which is A Force Like No Other, it's called. It's a series by Colin Breen, who himself was a former Northern Irish police officer. It's focused on stories from the Troubles from the RUC, the RUC, the Royal Ulster Constabulary, which is a great thing to say fast. Truly, truly harrowing stories in there. Just shocking stuff they had to endure, those officers or constables, and just general life. Like when you read about just the kind of senseless violence that was happening, just madness. One of the first stories is about a police patrol that just get lit the fuck up, fucking shot, and an officer has to drag himself away, shot one of his first shifts. Yeah, just insane what they had to go through. It's really good. Not in a good way good, but it's really good. Very dark, like super dark. I think it's in the second book. There's a story from a female officer's perspective of going to, or being at an incident, or being at some sort of public event where there is a bombing, and just the way she described having to go through, like just seeing bits of bodies lying about, and just seeing people that she saw moments before and just completely unrecognizable with the death and the mayhem around, and just it really just shocking to read that was just a part of life. And partly also with the whole Brexit thing, kind of the thing you need to keep in mind that kind of feels like certain elements of the UK kind of don't care that they are fanning that fire again with the rhetoric that's being used. Which again, just seen with everything in perspective, is a bit disconcerting. Like, there's a few very good books. Like, Northern Ireland really interests me. Like, the whole Troubles. Oh, there was, what's it called? Is it SIS-22, which was a specialist intelligence service they had up there where they drafted in other people. They were basically there to recruit and maintain and also do surveillance on IRA members, and also technically UVF members. IRA, the Irish Republican Army, and well, later on becoming the PIRA and CIRA and whatever other different sort of subdivisions as they started to separate up, and the UDF, the Ulster Defence Force, which was sort of the other side of that. The Union, is that the Union? I can't, because there was the Unionists and the Republicans. Yeah, the Republicans would be the IRA, and then the Unionists would be, I think, the UVF. UVF, Ulster Volunteer Force. It's very, 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 very fucking insane period of time. But reading about that, because those intelligence people were just doing the most insane stuff at the most risk. Like, they would be murdered, they would be tortured, they'd be at risk of everything. Just crazy to read about the things they would have to do. Like, it's full-on spy film thriller thing that was happening. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And that was like real life and dealing with real people and trying to, at the end of the day, keep people from dying. Like, their intelligence work was done purely to prevent assassinations and murders and all of that shit and terrorist attacks. Just it's weird that happened in what by all accounts is a perfectly normal country. And the craziest fucking thing is there was a fucking rally taking place every year in Ireland in the 70s and 80s, the Circuit of Ireland, where they drove around literally all of Ireland. And they drove into like the big conflict areas. That just seems madness. Oh yeah, let's send this massive sporting event straight through that area where there are like bombings and shootings and people who want to kill British people. Seems like that can't go wrong at all. Like, yeah. A lot of modern day like counterinsurgency stuff was formed in Northern Ireland. It's also one of the reasons why, comparatively, the British had fairly decent success in Iraq and Afghanistan in the areas they took. It was from experiences learned in Ireland. And a lot of procedures, even back with bomb disposal, a lot back in Northern Ireland, they ended up having a set pattern for where they would set up command posts in the event of a bombing. So they'd set off a bomb, and then they'd plant a secondary bomb right where they knew they would set up the command post until they realised that, oh yeah, now they're kind of bombing our command post. That's bad. So then they started just being like, okay, Ground Commander will just have to make a decision themselves, and they can't do any patterns. Like, again, to go complete full circle with the whole bomb disposal thing, one of the things bombs disposal people can't do is set a pattern. The worst thing they can do is follow a pattern in their work. Most other jobs, certainly in the military, focus on having patterns and set procedures, whereas a bomb disposal person can't do that. It will be their death. Because the bomb makers will be watching the bomb disposal people and see if there's any pattern, if they do anything the same way, in the same order. They will use that and they will exploit that and try and kill the makers coming up. Like, it's one of the most stressful jobs, other than just dealing with literal bombs. Having to be completely measured in everything you do and just be so fully focused on doing things, or doing the things you need to do, but doing them differently every time, so you can't be second guessed. You need to second guess the people that are second guessing you, and it's just a whole fucking mess. I think it's truly fascinating to read about the pressures they're operating under. What is it? It's called Painting the Sand is one book that I read. I can see it on my phone because that was an e-book. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. God, I miss Red Orchestra 2. That was so good. Well, the GOT servers have shut down, though. Like, there's no real shooter out there that I give a toss about these days. Like, I enjoyed Battlefield 4, but I ended up realising I only enjoyed a very specific set of servers. Like, infantry only, no sniper. Was like the only things I really played on. Because that was fun, because people were actually fighting. It wasn't just thing counter thing, thing counter thing counter thing, because that's just what it is. I just don't care about the kind of game that became, because it was just, yeah, you got this weapon, but somebody can counter that and somebody else can counter that. It was just so bland. There was no difference in it. And Red Orchestra 2 was, I really enjoyed that years ago. Such a good multiplayer experience. But yes, books. Library, there we go. Forward. No, that's not what it was called. No. Oh yeah, I can also recommend Freefall, which is about a Russian bloke fighting in Chechnya. Very good, very good. Boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, Charlotte Madison, Dressed to Kill, very good too. Apache Pilot. Boom, boom, boom. No. 8 Lives Down, there it is, the other bomb disposal book by Major Chris Hunter. I mean, also, if you don't trust a bloke called Major Chris Hunter, then, I mean, obviously Major isn't his name, it was his rank in the military. But yeah, I think both him and the bloke that wrote Painting the Sand both operated in Iraq. because apparently that was a hotbed. Because they had Iranian intervention, they had the Iranian Republican Guard kind of advising the insurgents in their areas on what to do and what not to do. Allegedly, it has not been officially proven, but generally it was the consensus that Iran was kind of playing a part there. So yeah. But very good. Like, there's so many good books written, certainly from the British perspective down there. Also with like the Iraq. Also, is it Carnivore by, oh god, what's his face? He's got a very American name. He's got a very, it should be in here. Dillard Johnson. Yes, very American. Dillard Johnson, who was a Army Cavalry Scout. Not on horseback, but in the M2 Bradley. Very good book. It was a commander, unit commander thing. And yeah, those things were great, also very bad. Because they used, like the A10. I think actually it's the same projectile they used, the 30mm depleted uranium rounds. Which, as you can guess, isn't great when you're sitting inside the vehicle. You know, like inside of an IFV. Because they were supposed to wear this old sort of CVRN suit when they operated it. But, you know, on account of operating in fucking Iraq, they couldn't really wear them because there wasn't any sufficient AC in the vehicles. So they were kind of just breathing in depleted uranium dust for the duration of their tour. Which is pretty bad. A lot of cancer. Just a lot of cancer going around to those people. Which, like, again, I feel like the military is supposed to kill the enemy, not themselves. It's kind of like I mean, again, maybe I'm just kind of stuck in the past on that point, but, you know, the military is supposed to kill the people you're fighting, not yourself. But hey-ho, hey-ho. It happened, but yeah. Lots of good books. One of the best books out of Afghanistan, in my opinion, is Firestrike 79 by some bloke. It's a JTAG, or, you know, tactical air controller, with some British troop down there. I seem to recall he served under a matey called Butts, because it was Mate Butts, which is funny. Like, just funny. Just never would not be funny in my mind that I'm working with Mate Butts. But yeah, it's really good. To me, that really encapsulates what it must be like to be on the ground. I think it's ghost written by Damian Lewis, not the actor, the author. But it's really good. And yeah, it's just very good. Many books from down there. That again just further highlights how fucking stupid America was in leaving fucking Biden, you fucking piece of shit. Oh, never has a president been expected so little of, yet managed to disappoint so hard. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. I mean, with Trump, we pretty much got what we expected. We got a loose cannon. I think we need to ram this fuck up, because we're stuck here under a tree. And that would have been very expensive had that been real life. But it isn't real life. It's not just fantasy. We're not stuck in a landslide yet. With no escape from reality. And then I can't remember the rest. But hey ho, let's ram this claws with mid-ear. Yeah, we're about to have some hardcore tractor action here. This is straight to OnlyFans we go. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, did you see that? Tractor on tractor hardcore action. So good. Dirty tractor, dirty French tractor. Is it French? Is it German? Dirty German gets rammed up the back by American something. I don't know what the right word is. But there we go. We now rammed this thing to fuck. Oh, Christ, I've nearly used a full tank of fuel on this. Gee whiz, you're a thirsty girl, ain't you? So let's just get sticking. How much do we need? Oh, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but I have a suspicion it's going to take a lot longer than I think it will. But we shall carry on here. Actually, I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to get some drink. And back we are. Yes, look at that. That even worked out just as well for me. I now have water, and I didn't fuck up my farming. Let's just speed up here a bit. Yeah, we can just snip down and whoop, 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 back up, back up, back up. That'll be good. And then we shall just crack on. But yeah, again, we'll jump about a bit on topics. Fuck it, I can jump around. Like House of Pain? Fuck yeah, I can. Fuck yeah, I can. Jump around. Wait, that sounded a bit more like it. What song is that? Oh, I forgot what song that is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that whole Game of Thrones thing is very good. Can recommend. Can recommend. I mean, I'm not going to watch a fucking TV thing because there's just no way that can live up to what it is inside my head. Because it was really good inside my head and really impressive. Just really impressive in my mind. Hey, it was on cruise control. And, like, you know, low speed, it's fine. It's fine. It worked out for everyone involved. I mean, have you seen how I drive in these? It doesn't really matter. But yeah, let's just, you know, again, yeah, it's just really well written because a lot of the time though, I feel like some of the twists weren't that surprising. Like you could kind of feel like the things that were happening, but sometimes it was just like boom, caught you out of nowhere. Like boom, like the whole wedding thing, that was really well done because I was kind of expecting something to happen because they were too friendly, to be honest. It was too nice and positive and all of that. But yeah, it's one of those things where, because everything can happen, you're kind of expecting everything to happen. Like, it's very weird. Like, at first I was really annoyed that Eddard Stark had to die, but I was kind of like, okay, yeah, but he kind of had to, because everything was lovely. It's like one of those things where, you know, like in horror films, everything starts out fine and everyone's happy, and by the end, you know, the woman's been raped and killed and all of that stuff. You know, it's one of those things. Yeah, everything was happy and then it wasn't. It was like the catalyst. So yeah, he had to die because he was, you know, the good guy. He was a good guy. He was the one with morals because he was the one he wanted you to like. Like, the weird thing was starting to kind of have a begrudging respect for Jamie. Because he's like an arse, like a real arse, like a real absolute swine. But it feels like he kind of... feels like him losing a hand is like having a redemption. Like, he realises, oh, maybe I'm not a good person. Like, maybe I could be, like, decent and human and, like, not have sex with my sister. Which, you know, again, valuable lessons in life, which apparently, if you're, like, from Alabama, you might need to learn that. You might need to learn that. But, yeah, it's just good, you know. Again, not great if you, like, appreciate, you know, a healthy view on women and their role in society, but, you know, if you're able to put aside that kind of stuff, it's really good. But yeah, it's I can see why it is as popular. Like, I was actually listening to a podcast. It was actually earlier today where they interviewed one of the blokes that were in it. Apparently, I think he played Robert Bonnet and Barbara and that bloke, the king, the fat one, the fat king. But yeah. And he said that pretty much in terms of TV, they could only have made that with the biggest budget because they need to make it look really fucking good or it would be shit. And I can kind of see the point there because the way it's written is it needs to be like it is in the books. Otherwise, it's just shit. But yeah, it's very well written because a lot of the characters are complex. And like you have to realise, certainly when you read the books, that some of the characters are young children. Which really doesn't work for TV, does it? Really doesn't work for TV if like the main characters are like 10, 11, 13, 14, even younger than that years old. That's no good. Like Sansa and Arya and that, they were like really young. Like one of the major plot points in one of the books is Sansa like having her first period. Feel like that kind of doesn't work in TV world. Like that can kind of work in a book. Can't work in TV. That's really bad. Like having them being betrothed away and all of that stuff. And yeah. It's like really well written. He knows what he's doing. That bloke. I mean, I think he's a bit of an old fart, really, from what I've heard. He's a bit of an old fart that lives in the past and kind of doesn't fit in with modern view on particularly women and things. But again, we've got like J.K. Rowling, who's one of the biggest writers, and she's a fucking turf. So, isn't it a fucking shame that somebody who wrote children's books turns out to be such a massive cunt? Like, Graham Linehan is a fucking cunt too. But he, like, never did children's stuff. He just did Father Ted and the IT Crowd. And I can kind of live with the fact that he's a cunt. Slightly harder to live with the fact that a children's author is a massive fucking cunt. Because, you know, J.K. Rowling is a cunt. And that's, like, disappointing. Because, like, how can you, like, give your children Harry Potter to read when, like, she's a fucking turf? Just no room for that. Just fuck your cow. Give me somebody that likes people for who they are. It's just insane. Just be nice, for crying out loud. Just be nice to people. My philosophy is, you know, trans people. Oof, I'm willing to bet they probably have it rough enough as it is, with society, you know, struggling to accept them and all of that nonsense. Kinda don't need, you know, authors and the like of them and everybody in media to kind of hate on them too. Maybe, you know, just be like, yeah, you know, don't understand you, but, you know, that you feel that way, but I fully respect you and you have your right to live your life as you want to. And that's it, because that's really all there is. And I can see, like, as I was younger, I was kind of like, ugh, gays, ugh, disgusting. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, no, it makes no difference to my life. And I was like, oh, well, it has, like, literally no impact on me. Like, those people being gay over there has no impact on my life whatsoever. It hasn't discouraged me from engaging with vagina one bit. You know, it hasn't made vaginas run away from me. Hasn't, you know, drawn me towards the cock. It's kind of like those people like each other. It's good for them. I will just like the people I like. And just, you know, just nice. You know, they're happy, I'm happy. We're all happy. Like, alright, if they turn out to be racists, then alright, fair dues, we've got some issues there. But, you know, if they're, you know, nice people, and most people I find are kind of nice people. They're just getting on with life, trying to live life without too much hassle, you know. Everybody's trying to search for the path of least resistance. Oh, you know, I mean, if you are, you know, in a minority, you like swimming against the sea, but hey ho. Not against the sea, you can't swim against the sea. The sea's like more of an abstract concept. But you're swimming against a current, which is more of a thing you can swim against, because swimming against the sea isn't technically possible. But yes, it's just, yeah. I'm like, yep, whatever, you do you. And I do me. Just the easiest thing to do. Just like, it's not infectious. Although I did read recently that somebody in a Spanish hospital was had a diagnosis listed as homosexual. Let's not do that. I mean, let's not do that. It's one of those weird things. Here, technically, is it transgender that's the right term, is technically listed as an illness. But that's so the hospitals can actually do things about it. Not do the bad things, but like be like, yeah, okay, we can like help you with this so you can feel like, become the thing that you feel like you are. Which is like the good way of doing that. Like I know if you do feel like you're trans, you can go to a doctor and be like, hey, doctor person, I feel like I'm trans. And they'll like refer you, and then you go into like an assessment program. And then like by the end of it, they'll be like, yep, we can kind of see that it's not just this impulsive thought you've had. Yeah, you do actually feel like this would actually benefit your life. So yeah, let's do this. Which feels like it's kind of like the good way of doing it. Because like you're making sure that the people want to do it, and you make sure, that they get the things that they want to do so that it fits them. It's not just a blanket thing, like, yeah, you're now this, and we're going to do this to you. It's kind of like just going, okay, this is what you want. And we can try and make that happen for you so you can feel happy about yourself. And I'm like, yeah, 10 out of 10. Good job there, health service. That's exactly what we need to be doing. Helping people live a happy life. That's what I want. Just rock on if that's what you need. It's no skin off my back. Literally, it isn't. It might be skin off their back. No, hang on, no. Now, famously, genitalia isn't on the back or anything like that. Backs aren't really known as being based upon a gender and thus needing significant changes in the event of somebody identifying as a gender they weren't born as, because it's a back. It's like, yeah, just be nice to everybody. It's better that way. The world's better. Again, path of least resistance. Just be nice. Means people are usually nice back to you, and if people aren't nice to you, just don't deal with those people if you can. Avoid it. And again, what somebody else does has no effect on me. Generally, just you do you, me do me. All's good. But yeah, we're going to probably wrap this up fairly soon. I think 1 or 2 loads. Oi, we've just been talking about genitalia and loads. Yeah, we should get cracking here. Oh yeah, we also had IMSA on the weekend, the Virginia International Raceway. Also, again, genitalia sounds like that. The big race was good. Again, just great GT racing, just a bit of banging, bit of old banging doors and bumpers. But yeah, Kevin Estre kind of leading the charge on that. Seemingly bumping into both Corvettes on that restart as hard as he could. And then he tried to shove a Corvette out of the way, which worked. And then the other Corvette was like, are you going to do that? Then I'm going to do the same to you. And he did. And then that was kind of it for Kevin Estre, because he threw it off shortly later on. If you hadn't seen that would have been the second Porsche Cup race from Virginia International Raceway, VIR. Kenny Van Berlo was a massive arse, because he made a mistake. He moved fucking over, and then he had the cheek to flip the bird. Just, yeah. That's the good commentator said. That didn't do him any favours. That's not how you get a future with Porsche. Or anybody. That's the Dan Ticktum way of trying to get a drive, and that doesn't go well for you. Doesn't go well at all. Maybe he's just not singing about, oh, I don't know, Lawrence Vantore shit. See how well that goes for him on Twitch. Because that seems to be the thing idiot racing drivers do these days. Isn't it sad that racing drivers these days are losing their junior drives or junior affiliations based upon the thing they do on Twitch? That just seems like the saddest future we live in when that's the case. I mean, it is Ticktum and he is an absolute arse. And he has no place in motorsport, but, you know, just, yeah. See, Ticktum, he would have a good drive. He'd probably be in Formula 1, actually, if he, you know, knew how, A, to keep his mouth shut, and B, not be an arse on track. Because there's absolutely no way he should have been affiliated with Williams this year. Absolutely no way. No chance he should have been that last year as well, I believe. I mean, and he was even an arse last year, threatening to crash people off and stuff last year at Silverstone, I seem to recall. And this year he'd been quite well behaved, mostly, until he went to Twitch. Yeah. I have a feeling his mum's called Karen. It's just the kind of vibe he's giving me. Somehow it seems entirely correct that his personal sponsor, is high-end solicitors. Just seems like the kind of thing he might need. But hey-ho, let's get jiggy with it. That's the second Will Smith song reference I've made. That's slightly worrying. We might next be off to, you know, the Wild Wild West. But, you know, parents just wouldn't understand. Oh God, what else did he do? Oh yeah, the Men in Black might be coming over here as well. He's an interesting case, isn't he? Because he was quite a safe rapper. He didn't get into all the F's and the N's and whatever else you can get into in rap music and singing about women being hoes and all of that stuff. He was more sort of a clean rapper. That sounded more like I said, a clean rapper. Like he's a frog. He's a rapper. He's a frog. Like that fairy tale. Oh God, which one is that? Is that Princess and the... No, not Princess and the Pig. Which one is it where it's a frog? Or the prince is a frog? I've done the same thing again. I've done the same thing. I've done a bad with me tractor. That was very classless of me. Ha 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 ha. Very classless of me, wasn't it? Oh, yes, indeed. Friend in need. Yep, she's a gold digger. A waste of time. How am I referencing rap music today? Also, like, it's been years since I've listened to any Will Smith rap. It's been years since I've listened to Gold Digger. Which it did catch me out a few years ago when I heard it on the radio, because over here they play the uncensored version of songs. So yeah, She Ain't Messing With No Broke was broadcast on the radio, which does tend to catch you out a bit, even though you kind of you should be expecting it over here. But yeah, that's just the N-word, just the good old N-word on the radio in the daytime. Yep, no problems with that. Then again, we also had that children's show about a bloke and his massive penis, which is a literal thing that happened over here. It's brilliant. Oh, And there were like people going, "Oh, you can't show children that. It's about a penis. They'll just think that you can be sexually inappropriate," when it was like the least sexualized program whatsoever. And as one children's expert, I think they're called, I don't know, what are they called, children's experts, said children just think it's funny because it's a penis, which is kind of just sums the whole thing up. It was grown-ups trying to add some sort of meaning and depth to something, where the principle is just children just think it's funny because it's about a penis, and penises are funny to children. Just again, yeah, guys, there's nothing deep about this. Children just see penis and think it's funny. And that's all there is to it. You guys, like, it's not about, oh, it's sexualizing for children. They might think, men's penises are, like, funny and they want to touch them. No, they just go, oh, yeah, it's a penis. It's funny because that bloke's got a penis and he can, like, lift things with it. Because, famously, that kind of humour is very childish, and that was a children's program, and it's just legitimately funny. And also hearing people talking about a children's show involving a penis, just funny, I mean, again, we're talking about the country that a few years ago had an advert in one city that I saw of a cosmetic surgeon who just put pictures of titties on the side of buses. Oh, what a glorious day that was. Just walking about, oh, yep, there's some tits. Oh, yep, there's some tits. Oh, tit bus coming up. Pit bus, Route 69. Oi, oi. Yep, titties on the bus. So again, it's that kind of thing where I'm like, yeah, cultural differences is pretty big when you compare with, like, the sort of English culture, including like America, because that's like a no-go over there. They'd be like, oh, what nobody think of them children. I don't know, it's like, yeah, just titties in it. A lot titties. Yeah, we're weird in that way. It's fantastic advertising, yes. Like plastic or like a cosmetic surgeon, how do we advertise? Yeah, let's just put pictures of really nice tits on the side of buses. That'll do the job. Yep, that will do the job. Yep. I mean, yep. If you want to go to a cosmetic surgeon and have nice tits, you want to see nice tits. I mean, I think the notion is kind of just like I think most women generally can just appreciate the fact that men, generally, if they're straight, can't not look at something like that. Like, oh boy, it's eye-catching. I can tell you that much. But I also remember like being a children in like there were some cartoons, like some Donald Duck cartoons, and this was like back like 15 years ago or something like that. I remember where they were advertising milk in schools, because that is still a thing over here, and I think they did it by having a woman lie in a bath filled with milk. This was marketed for like pre-teens, which I feel like in hindsight wasn't appropriate in any way, really, but it happened. It was glorious. Again, like who doesn't like that? I mean, admittedly, if you don't like women, it's not that nice, but you can't just have a neutral response. And, these days, yeah, it is a waste of milk, technically, yes, and, probably better ways of advertising that. But I also like the whole tit thing, like, it's, admittedly, it's slightly issue because, again, it's about normalising what kind of bodies we show people. Because, just showing, like, those kind of supermodel titties, that's not a real image of what they sort of generally tend to look like. Like, again, they're not all like that, perfectly photoshopped and perfectly framed, perfectly lit, and, the posture of the model and all of that just makes them all sit as they should. And yeah. See, I'm an amateur photographer, not particularly of people, but yeah, I kind of tend to notice all of the little tricks they tend to do and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like half the stuff, like you could do so much just yourself by just posing and lighting things the right way and some makeup. Just a few things there that can just really make a difference. Just one of those things that, again, just is weird. Because you should really just be like, yeah, you know, you don't need to have them, you know, like if you're like, let's say you're like 39 and you've had a couple of children, you probably ain't going to have a body of a 21-year-old. Which is one of the issues really also with like general media stuff, like even in like film and TV. Like, you know, why don't we cast people that is the age of the character that's being portrayed rather than cast somebody significantly younger to play someone older? Like the examples I've heard is that casting 40-year-old women to play 50-year-old women, or playing 50 to 60-year-old women and then casting 50-year-olds to play 70-year-olds and so on and so on. So the image that's being portrayed in the media is distorted of what people look like at certain ages. And same even younger, like casting, you know, like a 22-year-old to play a 35-year-old. Again, just not quite right, because I mean, I just going by my gauges, and I'm significantly, what's the word? I'm not as fat as I was 10 years ago now, like by quite a significant margin. But there are, you know, parts of your body that just naturally begin to age. And you know, that's just a thing, and you don't get that with somebody younger. Because they're not old yet. That's the thing about time. It hasn't happened for them yet. I mean, I feel like we're really getting down to the deep stuff now about time and how it hasn't happened to everyone just yet. Oh dear, yeah, we can do this up here. And then, do you know, there's something I haven't actually checked before I started, and I feel like with 2, 4, 6 rows remaining, I probably should have looked at that about 700 rows before I did. But we need to quickly just check to see, because the... Oh, that's bad. No, that's good. Just, yep, here we go. I thought that also did potatoes. Well, there'll be a lot of scooping up now for me. Let me quickly check here then and see. Well, we'll just wrap this up here, because I've got that big bucket on my Brexit loader, my Lord Frost, as I am now calling it. I hope it's more reliable than Lord Frost. But yeah, we need to just have a look and see if we can get something bigger, because technically it kind of flops over. So, boom, wheel loaders. Ooh. What is the difference between those two? Oh, I've cocked it. Okay, we're doing this now. Okay, yep, just commit. This is fine. Halt. We just need to go back here and we can sort this out. We just need to have a look about what the differences are. We may need to just trade it in, maybe lease real quick just to get it over with. Reverse. Beep, 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 beep. One thing I don't understand about certain cars is why they beep inside the car when you put it in reverse. It just... What's the point of telling me I put it in reverse? I know it's in reverse, I just put it in reverse. That's just one of many rants that I can give about modern cars. That I will never understand. The whole point of modern cars, why are they always beeping at me? I don't need to be told, oh yes, I've just put it in reverse. Oh yes, all of that nonsense out here. Yes, all of that stuff. And yes, it's just no. Shut up. I'm an adult. Let me drive the car as I want to. I don't need to be told that I've just done something that I did. Like, my parents have 2 cars, and both of them give like a series of beeps when they start them. It's both of them are Hyundais. It's just so annoying. Why are you beeping at me? I just turned you on, and I know I turned you on because I just made you turn on. I don't need to be told that you're now turned on because I asked you to turn on. Yeah, it's just, ugh. At least some of the hybrids that I've driven, when you turn them on, they just do a beep. They're just like, beep. Just letting you know, we are now turned on. And it says ready on the dashboard. Again, useful. No point giving me beep, 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 beep. Okay, maybe that does sound more like it's a plane crashing. But, oh god, this is so many potatoes. Oh, so many potatoes. Potatoes for your mama and your drama. Stop here and... right, yeah, let's have a look. See here on wheel loaders, what do we have? You're more expensive. You are a 435. You are also big. Yeah, okay, so are you bigger physically? I don't know. Boom. Oh, we can do a stage. Do we want to do stage? Is this bigger? Is this bigger? I might need to just have a quick say warning signs. I mean, warning me. Signs. Oh, those are signs. Stickers. Okay, and then we can. Yeah, we can do second hand. That's a nice little mod. And then boom. Okay, and is that it for this wheel brand? You see, I'm not sure what's the size difference between this. So, does that look bigger? I don't think it is, but this is. That's bigger. I feel like this is bigger. We can put Tyler Ball, we can put Nokian on, the Communals, the Michelin. Oh, the Tyler Ball's bigger there. And then that's a baby loader. No, let's not get that one. Then we've got a Newfoundland. No. What we want to do now, pause, save right here. We want to try, because now that we saved, what we can do is go in with a U, say Michelin. We can do wide, we can do communal ties. No, we can do narrow twin ties. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes. Just do white ties. Use second hand, please. Warning signs, stickers, beacon lights. Yeah, all right. We can put those on. Do that. No, let's just leave it on here. Boom, boom, boom. Michelin, we dink, dink, dink. Oh, that's quite expensive. So we can lease you. Okay, that wasn't a lease. Yes, I want to lease. Thank you. So now, okay, that definitely wasn't it. That was too small. We just need to go. Okay, so here, this one is. Beep, beep, yep. And then we go over here. Oh, we got the stickers on these. So if we pop over to the shop, we can see the size of this. And compare it and see if it's bigger. Because if it isn't, it's just going to flop over. Also, can we just tip that out of the front? You don't have access to this land. Is this bigger in any sense, really? Let's just bring it in here, nice and good. Stop there. I bought those bales a long time ago and they haven't disappeared. Let's see. Oh, you know, it probably is a bit, you know. So can we just detach the Renschke high dump bucket? What does this give me of a return if I sell it? 123. compared with if I buy this, use second hand. You know what? We can make that happen pretty quickly, can't we? Nope. Doing, yep. Sell and garage, leased items, return. I really do hope they give an overhaul to the sort of leased items. Boop, not use second hand, and then just put. No, I like that. I like that one, and then we do that, and then we just buy, because that's pretty much even Stevens. Admittedly, it could kind of do with repainting, but we're not going to do that now. There we go. So let's see if this thing flops over like something sad and pathetic. Also, what kind of gears would this have? Not sure. Oh, it's just litre, the proper litre. It's nice. That's the only real screen that we have. Oh, you can see the fan moving in the back. Yes, best mod. Why didn't I move to this one immediately? Although it does have the most pathetic horn in the known universe. It's doing fine over this. Yes. So now we need to grab a different tractor because now we need to start moving this about. Stop. We just need to clear you off here. So that's been loaded. Just pack it down. Do I need to technically fold this up? Yes, I do. See, it now folds itself up. We'll park this right over here. Just keep it over here just for now. We just need to grab another tractor. And I used pretty much a full tank of fuel during this, I think, if you compare with the start of the previous stream stop. And if we grab... Oh, yeah, look at this. Beaut. I think it might be too big. This seems a better size for it's my 7R. 290. I'll just nip over here and find... where did I park my hook lift? Might it be? That's me Samson. Just turn you in here. I think it might be over here. Again, big tractor, big fuck off tractor, right? Looks menacing. Pardon me, I'm a tractor. Just farming, not particularly befitting. I mean, also look at that thing on the exhaust where they do the whole SCR AdBlue business in there. Big. Where is, stop. Where's my hook lift? Where have I parked my hook lift? Oh, don't you just hate it when you spend your Friday evenings worrying about where you left your hook lift? Now, where actually did I leave that? No, that's a tractor. No, that's not that. No. Shovel. No. That's no. That's refillable. No. We can toggle you. And now we only have implements left. Is it over here? Don't be over here. I'm gonna be so pissed off with myself if I left it over here. Oh, there is a way here to just go through everything. Boom. No. There should be a container on the back, so we could also see that. No. Okay, it's just high dump bucket. No. Exciting farming simulator gameplay looking. Oh, no, don't need that. Okay, let's just toggle all of that. See, now we literally only have trailers here. I think that also include implements, so that might make it easier. Don't be down here. Don't you. Reset, please. Gracias. That was down here. That's rather annoying and disappointing to me. But hey ho, we can cheat. It's reset to the shop. So let's go back to just where we were. Beep, meep, meep. Bitcoin coming through. Sorry, pardon me. Awfully sorry. Why? Two-wheel tractors. Yeah. It's Monster Tractor. You bought the whole seat. You only need the edge. Yeah, and just again, just wobbly, whoops, upsy dupsy, coming through. Hello, tractor. Yep, hello, tractor. And we can turn on the beacons, which doesn't look right on this, of course. We'll just indicate, please. Hello. Oh dear. Sorry about that. I've kind of knocked over your wall. So there should be, yes, there is now a hook lift. Right here. Stop. That's how every tractor driver who knows the salt stops, of course, on a front wheelie, turny. No things there. No, don't reverse. Forwards, please. We just need to move back our hook and lift. And then, what is the? There you go, and then we can just nope. There you go. Isn't that neat? I've now got a 40,000 litre container on me back. Now what we could do is grab some sort of conveyor belt, but I'll just use the Brexit loader, the new Brexit loader, the no-deal Brexit loader, hashtag satire, to load potatoes upon this, and then that'll be it. Now you'll get started here, but you know, I've been going for what, an hour and 2 hours, 40 minutes, so we'll probably wrap it up pretty quickly. But we'll just nip off here. And we've had no dropped frames. I've just realised that I can see that. So I'm positive about that. Let us just leave. Oh dear, you are struggling a bit here, aren't you? Let's just leave you here. And then just run over to Lord Frost. Can you just please just... do I need to attach some sort of hosing here? Oh, yes, I do. There you go, because now we can... Now we can tip you this way. Maybe it is empty. Maybe it's just a bug then that it says that down there. So... Okay, that's also an issue here. Because this is a big bucket on this. Yep. Yeah, that is an issue, isn't it? That is a definite problem in terms of being operational. What if I just forward? No. Balls. I might need the bigger one. Oh, that's no good. That's, yep, just... Come on. Forward momentum. Yes, look at me, being a professional farmer. This is how all the farmers do it. All like this. Counterweighter for pussies, you know? For babies, pussies. No, that's not a good term. For babies, that's right, babies. I ain't no baby. Or even worse, a communist. Y'all calling me some sort of communist that needs some sort of counterweight? Hell no, stickers. I'm a proud farmer. I ain't need no counterweight and holding me down. It's like the goddamn government just dragging me down. Trying to hold down this farmer. I can do this. I can do this. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh no, I can't do nothing about that. Do we have any weights for this? I don't think so. I think for Farming Simulator 15 you could download a mod, but I'm not going to download a mod right now. I don't think any of this attaches to the back. What? Let's reverse. Let's reverse and then just accelerate, accelerate, accelerate. Lift, 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 lift. This is fine, yep. So what we may need to do is take out a slight bank loan, or more of a bank loan, and then just get the big. Nope, don't go forward. Definitely don't go forward. Nope, stop. Reverse, please. Gracias. Lower, 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 lower. I thought this was bigger. It may be, but it ain't big enough. This bucket ain't big enough for the two of us. Or Brexit. There you go. Oh, we're accelerating. So let's quickly pop into you to garage own you. So you boom, 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 boom. Here we go. What's we don't even have that much of a loan. How much was it again? Let's just have a look. See here. See wheel loaders. 248, so a fair old chunk of money. That'll be Bob's, your uncle, and your cousin. Boom. Oh yeah, and we can also... we can take off a lot on this. Wait, is that the big one? Yes, that is the big one. That's what she said. Oi, oi. Boom, boom. That looks about better, doesn't it? So, purchase for... we didn't even need to take out that much of a loan. This looks like a chunky boy. Look at this. That's a chunky boy. And it has a 104 decibel rating, so we need to have some sort of ear protection on. Good thing it's a video game. And I don't actually. Oh, we've got an old phone over there. Oh, then I forgot what it else sounded like. That's a very old joke, because that's an old dial-up modem. What a wonderful, and by wonderful I mean shit device that was. Oh, yeah, I remember the first internet we had. We couldn't get phone calls if you used a dial-up internet connection. You couldn't get a phone call at the same time as you were using the internet. So you had to decide, and you were charged as well, like using dial-up. Oh dear. Let's see here. Has this been a massive mistake? Potato in my bucket. Oh, it's definitely not happy about this. It's definitely not happy. But I think it's happier. Yeah, it's happier. So let's just tip it in here. That works better. Because I am using an aftermarket bucket on it. And we just need to... And this is happening fairly rapidly, isn't it? Let's scoop it up. It's a bit wobbly, I do admit. It's clearly not happy. But we'll make it work. Let's see, I wonder how many potatoes, because we can have 40,000 litres in this. I think for Farming Simulator 22 they've realised that, hey, hang on, why are we using litres? Litres makes no sense. When real farmers are using either weight or they're using cubic meters to gauge the size of trailers. because gauging by litres is kind of weird. But hey ho. Like, one of the things that would really be nice, but I can't see any feasible way of doing, is like making it so you can actually load more than the capacity in a trailer. Because obviously, you know, this might be capped at 40,000 litres, but you can just put more on the top. You know, the thought police isn't stopping you in the real world, so why should it stop you here? If you can find a programming way of doing that. Oh boy. Oh crap, I've been going for a long ass time, haven't I? Oh well, we would wrap this up for... Oh dear, it's wobbly. It's a wobbly loader. I've got... Oh, don't you just hate it when your loader goes all wobbly on you? See, this is good shit right here. Okay. Oh, I've spilled a bit. I spilled a bit of potato. Oh no. I imagine that does happen on some Friday nights, right? You know, many a men spill their potatoes early on a Friday night, if you know what I mean. Just scoop up here. See, that's worryingly close to being an actual joke I just did there. Might have to rethink that. Like 45,000, so okay, 45,000. Okay, let's not reverse. Let's pause and see where we can... Okay, let's just turn all of this back on, please. And then we go in here, and then we see potato. Potato. There's 1 point, so it's pretty easy to guess where we sell... Hang on. What about... Oh dear, we need to do straw. We need to do straw potatoes. Yeah, alright. It's about to take a hike in next month. So, and I think we might be on the final step, and we need to feed potatoes, so we might want to just hold off for a moment down here, and I can do that, you know, not really with anyone watching. I was going to say, because the process is fairly repetitive, but I've pretty much just been live streaming me like 6 hours of just harvesting potatoes, which is fairly repetitive. I have to concede that. But let's just position this here. Otherwise, for like the coming week, there's not really been just like hardly any racing, is there? Because we've got the Indy, which is SRO, so it's like, oh, bugger. And then, oh yeah, next week we've got the Thrustmaster T248 coming out, which I need to figure out where I'm going to buy. Because I'm not sure my usual distributor will have that. Got my usual web shop place thing. Okay, let's just... Can we just detach that, please? Thank you. And then we will need to just do that again. Let's see how much straw... Yeah, we can definitely fit more straw in. I wonder, like, what the sales numbers were after Clarkson's farm. Whoa, hello. What the sales figures were after Clarkson's farm was released for Farming Simulators, because I have a strong suspicion that it would have gone up. It's the old, I think, Nerd Cubed effect in play again. That's just, yep, there you go. Let's just open up here again and see. That's looking happy, yeah. Why are you dropped so significantly down here? Yeah, see, you're babies, you're not. You are babies, but you're not. See, you're mature. It's like, again, it's like the porn version of mature. You're half a year old. Oh, well, you're already a MILF. Let's see here. Oh, we need to do some TMR, oh, but that means we need the wheel loader for that. See, now we're just into normal farming stuff down here, because I think if we just wait a day or two, we're going to get a better price on my potato, and I want a better price than my potato. I'm not giving away these potatoes for free. I ain't no stupid farmer. I ain't giving them potatoes for no money. So we just need to drive in me old class loader. It's far happier here. Admittedly, I did struggle loading silage into my food mixer, so I shouldn't have been that surprised that it struggled. But yeah, we'll just get in here, prepare ourselves for food mixing. I've switched one of my John Deeres over to it because technically the class tractor in here. Yeah, switched one of my class tractors out for, well, that class actually an 850 out with this John Deere 8 Series, 8R to be precise. And look at this beast. This is a beast. Look at this, even a dirty beast. Not a dirty German beast, a dirty American beast. All American beast. Yeah. Has barely done anything because I found that mod shortly before I kind of lost interest in it. But hang on, that's not the one we need. Oh wow, look, listen to that engine RPM. You're just revving the shit out of that thing because we're mixing up food. We need some bales. We need to grab this. Our Brexit loader light. This is Brexit with a withdrawal agreement, which, you know, if you watch this video in the near future, was a thing that was in place but is no longer in place. What we need to grab here, I think we need, I seem to recall 2 of these because they are bigger, because I've got one with like the Hessen big bale loader because I like them bales big. So just boom, down here. Let's see, pick up these 2, 12,000 litres of straw. As you saw, I've got a big food mixer thing, so it should be good. And then we just drop you these off. I hope 2's right. I think I've come to the conclusion that I needed the normal big baler for straw, so I can mix it up a bit better. But I need the Heston big balers for doing hay. Why, hey, hey! I'm Krusty the Clown. Because this is, again, a 45 cubic meter food mixer going on right here. So that's a fair old chunk, innit? It's a mod. Just, there's not really anything big enough for feeding like 200 cows in the base game. And then I think we need 4 of the other ones of hay. And then we just need to do the rest silage. Silage. We can just grab basically 3 here. Maybe it's just 3. Maybe it's 2, 3. I don't know. Let's just quickly grab you here. Ooh. Oh, this is difficult because this is now 18 litres. Yep, this thing is just 18 milk cartons. Ooh. Stop. Yep. There's a lot of movement right here. It's dangerous. This is high octane farming. This is like if the Discovery Channel did a farming show, it would be like this. With just really dramatic. And like multiple cuts fade to black and white. Really loaded. I remember switching over to the Discovery Channel at one point. And they had like some sort of show about like a quarry or something, and it's like Chuck's got a brand new bulldozer, and I'm like, right, okay, is this the level of television we're making? Trying to make drama out of some bloke having bought a new bulldozer? Because I feel like it's fairly low stakes action if it's that. I think again it would just, you know, just chill. Just chill. Oh, look at that chunky exhaust pipe. Oh, yeah. I like them chunky exhaust pipes. Give me them chunky bales and chunky exhaust pipes. Oh, yeah. This is weird now. I've now gone into the weird territory. Oh, no, we do need to actually fill this one up. Forward. See, that's now full. And we can reverse. It's not happy, but it's happier than the Brexit Lord Frost thing. Oh boy, it's wobbly again. It's having an episode. we need to scoop up the bit that we spilled. No, we don't. We'll wait with that until a bit. Stop forwards. Weirdly, the engine noise is actually louder in here from the other tracks than it was outside. Scoop. And then we just reverse. Looking good. Do a manual reversal. Stop forwards. Stop. Is this over? Because famously you have very little depth perception in video games. I wonder how much we done. So that's 2, 8, 16. Yeah, I think. Let me just scoop you up here and then another one here. I mean, we're not going to empty this, but we're going to give it a jolly good go. Stop forwards again. We'll just dump this old mess in. Well, that was a bit of a tease, wasn't it? Hopefully that will actually have produced mixed food. It has. I'm a good boy. Feeding me cows stuff that'll make them happy. Come on, climb over, climb over, climb over, climb over, climb over, climb over. Good. Tractor. We even got daytime running lights on it. Very nice. So we'll just nib in here. Oh, we might need to clean out these stuff in here. Pause. We just need to wait like 7 hours for this to empty. We can just have a bit of a look in here and see. Hay and grass and all of that. Yeah, grass is out of there, so that's definitely all fine. Yeah, you're all looking good. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, just literally, just as it took over 3 hours for me, I think we will call that. Definitely not accept that, but save. We will call that a night. Thank you very much for watching this weird thing that is a stream. Goodbye, everybody. Again, I haven't figured out if it's actually stopped now, so I'll just let it wait here in case it hasn't.